is right on whether there should be a two-state solution in the Middle East. UNICEF spokesperson Ricardo Perez says rebuilding will be a huge effort.
Fixing and starting to rebuild the infrastructure that was destroyed, the lives of children that have been absolutely affected in a very destructive way. They've lost parents, they've been orphaned, they've lost loved ones, they've lost their homes, their schools, they've been killed and maimed at a scale that we haven't seen recently in many conflicts. The task is colossal.
The top story at 3, suspended Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Detection, Shadrack Sibiya, has questioned the participation of MK Party MP David Skosana on Parliament's ad hoc committee. Sibiya is appearing before the committee for the second consecutive day. Headlines at 3:30 for SAFM News on the National Pulse. I'm Kolofelo Tefo.
In sports this hour, it's crunch time for Bafana Bafana. Proteas 51 for 2 in their second innings at Stamps on day 3 of the first test against Pakistan. More details at 3:30.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide, leading the conversation.
Right, as we get into the show today, remember this, Majapaheng is building South Africa's next energy-led industrial future. So join us for the Majapaheng Investment Summit, 16th and 17th of October. So it's imminent, you know that, in Velcom, where opportunity meets innovation, from gas and green energy to logistics, agro processing and advanced manufacturing. Discover how you can invest in a special economic zone backed by major energy projects, solar power and world-class infrastructure.
It all starts with advice from FNB Private. Because the perfect overseas trip starts with planning. Save and spend in multiple currencies with your FNB Global account and lock in exchange rates. Enjoy up to 40% off flights with eBucks Travel and order Forex on the FNB app delivered to you at no extra cost. Your adventure awaits. Unlock invaluable with FNB Private. Help changes everything. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and credit provider. TC's earn rules and limits apply.
This October month, SAFM joins the world in breast cancer awareness. We bring you conversations that highlight the importance of early detection, survivor stories that inspire hope, and expert advice that could save lives. Together, let's spread awareness and support the fight against breast cancer. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
This message is brought to you by Ituba, the proud operator of the National Lottery. So Mzansi Powerball has skyrocketed to a mind-blowing 140 million rands estimated jackpot for today. So play Powerball for an estimated 140 million rands and stand a chance to win the life-changing jackpot. Buy your tickets now in store on the nationallottery.coza, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or you can dial star 120 star 7529 hash for DSSD Panda Push-Up Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
At Auto & General, we understand your business is built on more than just vehicles. It's your stock, tools and equipment, and the premises where you work. Auto & General Business Insurance is designed for businesses like yours, protecting your assets against fire, theft, storms, and other unexpected events. To protect your livelihood, visit autogen.co.za and get an obligation-free business insurance quote. Auto & General, never not there. Auto & General is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
Bafana Bafana will host Rwanda in the final FIFA 2026 World Cup qualifier at the Mbombela Stadium on Tuesday, 14 October 2025 at 6 p.m. Tickets are now available nationwide and online from 70 Rand for adults and 40 Rand for children on all Ticket Pro outlets including Spar, Postnet and all petrol stations. Get your tickets early to avoid disappointment. This is the final push for Bafana Bafana and supporters should show up by the numbers. Gates will open at 3 p.m. If you are not in Mbombela, catch the game on SABC3. For more info, visit safa.net and at Bafana Bafana on all social media platforms.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable. You receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. Our range of plans include cover for you, your spouse, children, and extended family. Plans include cover for civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Whether it's protection orders, gender-based violence, uncontested divorce, or poor service, your Clientele Legal lawyer will be there to assist you. Our services are convenient. Simply pick up the phone and call your lawyer or send us an email and we'll get back to you. All plans include a bail benefit of up to 5,000 Rand and we'll go to the police station and pay it for you. Plus, Clientele Legal offers you 24-hour telephonic legal advice. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
The National Pulse with Ashraf Garda on SAFM. You're listening to the National Pulse, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
Well, welcome to the show. Another 3 hours of the National Pulse. My name is Ashraf Garda, and you being connected means you're very much a part of the National Pulse. So thanks for joining in. Save these numbers to call in whenever you can. 086 000 2032. To WhatsApp, it's 0614 104 107, and that's text or voice note. Or you can tweet right away with that hashtag, the National Pulse. Amongst the things we'll talk about today, we'll get reaction on the suspension of the Gauteng Department of Health, head of department, that is Lesiba Malotana, suspended by the Premier of Gauteng. There's the Bafana game. I did say it's a game of four halves. Bafana against Rwanda, Nigeria against Burundi. It is a game of four halves. We'll cover that too. But there's no question that we start with the ongoing story around the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee. And today, the suspended Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Detection, Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya, continues his testimony. So let's get right to the Commission.
Even if we don't read the entire letter, just go to a paragraph that says, if there is, that gives you an instruction to take dockets from KZN to Pretoria. I just need that only.
Yeah.
I don't need a context for you to conceptualize and give interpretations of what you understood out of what was written by the commissioner. If there is, unless you are saying we won't find that paragraph, that I can accept. Is there any paragraph that says General Sibiya give an order or give an instruction for dockets to be taken from KZN to Pretoria?
There's no such letter.
There's no such letter.
Even from my side, there's no such letter.
No, I think I'm satisfied. We can move. No, I'm satisfied. We can move to other questions. Now, the PKK, the PKTT chair, are you talking? Okay. Now, the PKTT in question, was this the only PKTT that we had across the country? Was there no any other PKTT that was in existence?
Yes, it was the only PKTT.
So, okay, or task team rather, let me not say, because K stands for killings, and a task team can have various responsibilities. Is that correct? Responsibilities, is that correct?
There were many other task teams.
There were many other task teams. And how many, during this period, how many were disbanded?
There's a letter that we read, the one that disbanded all the task teams because we reintroducing the specialized unit. And the document specifically talks about, and we read it yesterday, that says, let's go to page 11 of 184. Page 11.
Of your statement or of the bundles?
Of the bundle.
Of the attachments, right? Of the annexures.
Page 11.
Page 11.
Can I proceed?
Page 11?
Yeah, page 11.
Yes, I'm on page 11.
$177.
No, it's not here, General. No, no. General, which document are we talking about?
My bundle, I don't know what you call it, Chair, but it is page 177 that talks about
Okay. Yeah, you can proceed, General.
you see, from paragraph 6.4.5.1,
Yes.
Chair, all these are task teams, and they are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This is 14 so far that I see. But the sentence that I want to say, task teams that are not monitored run rampant for years without determining or accounting for the gap left where the members were taken from, mostly station level. Task team found operating in provinces are as follows. Then you find your foreign vehicle task team, multiple tour task team. So now the important sentence is this. These task teams should be placed within the murder and robbery unit to capacitate direct focus on a permanent structure with the necessary command and control budget and capability instead of functioning in silos. And it mentions also including political matters team. Now, when you go to the end of this same document, it's a work study that was approved by the National Commissioner. Now, go to page 202. When you go to page 202, the National Commissioner says, implementation of these units must be expedited by DNC crime detection, DIFCOM detectives, and provincial commissioners. Now, DNC crime detection is me, says implement and expedite the units. And this unit, like such as murder and robbery unit, is meant to investigate political killing task team as well, including your taxi-related killings, including your serial murders, police killings, etc.
Okay. The question was, were there any task teams that were disbanded simultaneously with the KZN1? That was my question. Remember, the KZN1 was disbanded on the 31st by the minister, right? So were there any other task teams that were disbanded during that period of the KZN disbandment?
There was an inspectorate, it was not a task team, but at the same time, in the same meeting, the minister disbanded the inspectorate and the PKTT.
So there were other task teams that were not disbanded?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I
no, you can respond if you want to say
remember
something.
That we've got many task teams that are running depending where the fire is. If now there is, we have deployed in Emangozi, I'm sure it's for 3 years now, where people could not even sleep in their houses, vehicles of South Africa being stolen into Mozambique all the time, weapons coming into the country, people being terrorized. Emangozi today is very quiet. We deployed there, and then we keep on retaining the members. We've deployed in Richards Bay, and I think the task team has been disbanded, I think. We've deployed in Eastern Cape. There's Operation Bamba and different other task teams that have been established but disbanded because it's only for a short little while to extinguish the fire and then move to another place where there is a crisis. Then we go in there, stabilize the place, and move out.
Now, General, the decision to disband was taken by the minister. There's no question about that.
Agree?
Do you agree with me?
I do.
And in the disbandment, the National Commissioner had no role in the disbandment. Remember, he came after the disbandment.
No. I read this document that I just gave to yourself, Honorable Member, where the National Commissioner said this is just a task team. It was not meant to be a permanent structure. Yes. It is not in the unit. It's not a unit that is in the structure of the police. It can be done. Yes. So he participated.
he participated after the letter was issued.
Even after the letter was issued, he continued to participate.
When you say even, you mean before he participated?
Before and after.
Before, what did he do before?
Before he gave his opinion there, and then during after receiving of the letter, he directed that it be actioned, and then even after that, he participated in all the meetings, and he was positive.
Okay, so this paper is part of which document?
These are my notes from the minutes of the meeting, and then we try to get the minutes of the meeting to summon the minutes of the meeting, but we were not given the minutes. But from my own work diary, this is what we have.
So there's nothing to prove at this stage that the minister participated prior, except your notes that you have written.
I'm saying there
by
is
yourself.
everything to prove if the committee can summon the minutes of the meeting, because there's also recordings where the Nation Commissioner's voice will be heard.
I'm wrapping up, Chair. Am I running out of time? Let me wrap up, Chairperson. I will ask questions which require short answers.
When the robot is read, you don't ask, may I stop?
I didn't see the report, Chair. My apologies. May I wrap up, Chair?
Yeah.
General, what is the SAPS procedure to deport an undocumented person from South Africa, in a nutshell?
Well, the people are taken to Lindela, and the Home Affairs process follows, where they begin to interact and with the other country. There's a process where the forms are being completed from the police stations that deports the person.
Were you the member of the DPCI members who were led by Lieutenant Colonel Maluleke, who were implicated in the rendition case?
I was not a member of, I was the deputy provincial head. I was the head of the Hawks in Gauteng, and I was not part of that operation of head office. So I was not part of it altogether.
You were not part?
At all.
You don't even know how it happened, how they were deported?
I never gave anyone instruction. I never participated. It is just one of those incidents that look like this one.
So you don't even know if those undocumented people are in jail or they are out. You have absolutely no
Absolutely no. And they were all, and for your information, Chair, they were all arrested by Crime Intelligence. And Crime Intelligence even gave them the letter of commendation for the job well done at Intelligence Head Office. I was in Gauteng. I had nothing to do whatsoever. I never even phoned one person. I never signed any document. I was never at the scene, not even once. My name was just used.
I appreciate your extra time, Chair. No further questions. Thank you very much.
No, I want you to ask the question that you asked on Friday, the 10th of October. And you asked that question to General Masemola. So General Sibiya is here in person. You must ask him that question, which you asked General Masemola whether General Sibiya is a corrupt person.
I was a corrupt cop.
So he is here. You must not. You
I
must
were corrupt,
have the courage. And
Thank you
ask
for
him.
thank you for reminding me. That question was part of my questions. General Sibiya, are you a corrupt cop?
I'm not.
You are not.
Yes.
So all these allegations against you are false and frivolous.
False, contrived, and frivolous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think you have done justice. It will not be fair to ask a question like that in his absence, and when he's here, you don't ask him. Honorable Breitenbach, Honorable Nomvalo, in case you feel you may want to be released, you are allowed. Honorable Breitenbach.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, General Sibiya.
Good afternoon, Honorable Member.
So, in general, I'm a little confused. Oh, I can't. It's too long and too big and too ugly, too everything. I'm a little confused. So, there's all this fuss about this press conference of General Makwenazi. We have a Malanga Commission, we have this ad hoc committee, and everybody wants to get to the truth. If what he says is true, it's a big problem, but it's not information that hasn't been around for years. Unless you've been living under a rock in this country, you had to know most of this, maybe not in this kind of detail, but everybody knew about all of these things. So, do you know why now? Do you know if his press conference, General Makwenazi's press conference, was whether what he says is true or not, constitutes a genuine desire to expose corruption and criminality within the police, or is this the manifestation of a battle for power in the police? Is this a battle for the top job when Masemola retires?
Personally, quite honestly speaking, Honorable Chair, this has got nothing to do with the 121 dockets and the disbandment of the political killing task team. This, according to me, it's about the succession battle within the police. And why I'm saying this is about a succession battle within the police, I know that in this case, in my case, this whole thing is actually meant to block me from, they know, I had an interview where I was interviewed by one of the radio stations or TV stations and saying, General Sibiya, now that the General Lebeya will be going, are you interested? Are you available? And I said, well, given that opportunity, I will go. And then from there, the media were running, saying that General Sibiya has thrown his head in the gauntlet as well, is ready. And as a result of that, you will see newspaper article that says Sibiya versus Musigidi versus Mkhwanazi. And then the next thing, what happened is that General Khumalo got arrested. That angered General Mkhwanazi to an extent that he sent a message to one of his friends, colleague, that says, can I proceed there?
No.
He sent a message of a song of Tupac that says, I'll kill them at night when they're sleeping. Now, he was so furious. And then even General Masemola, to an extent that I began to hear that they feel that I have something to do with that arrest. I ended up calling the National Commission and saying, NASCOM, I don't know about this arrest. Nobody knew. I didn't even expect it because this thing is something that happened within CI. The National Commissioner then said to me, no, you wouldn't have known about this arrest because it's something that happened within CI. Then later, I also got questions from the media guys that says, hey, we understand you are going to be arrested. You will get members who says, don't go to work on Monday. They say you are going to be arrested. Then I go to the National Commissioner, ask him. National Commissioner says, no, don't put me in there. You are not about to be arrested. Then we start working together. We run everywhere until the 4th of July, on the eve of the 6th. I get a call from General Mkhwanazi talking to me, asking me whether I'm coming to KZN or not. Then I said, no, I'll be coming, General. But the next thing, Sunday, this is a press conference about me. So, as far as I'm concerned, and in one of these meetings, I think General Mkhwanazi said it in this house, where he said, the National Commissioner was on the doorstep of being arrested. That's why we had to do something. It's a direct admission that this was just a preemptive strike. So the people of South Africa have just been taken for a ride that, no, this is about the disbandment and the docket. Because this docket, we're not gathering dust in my office. I have demonstrated and I still have it, and this committee has got the benefit of being able to call for the dockets. They were last seen since some of them 2018, 2019, 2020, 2023, 2024. So I'm just saying, For us to be sitting here today talking about the issue of the docket, it's a non-issue. Those dockets were dead long time ago. They are still dead now. Even if they can be called now tomorrow, you will see that they are still far.
So, how much of what General Makwenazi told us in his press conference is fact, and how much of it is semi-fact, and how much of it is conjecture?
General Makwenazi is playing the country and is playing a mind game to the country, and is actually playing those that are prepared to listen to him, because he knows how to play with words and what to say and the things he needs to say and how to say it in such a way that the country get moved.
I'm going to pause on that in such a way that the country gets moved. He knows how to play with words. Interesting things developing at the ad hoc parliamentary committee. We'll rejoin that as well later on. But right now, let's get to the news headlines. It's 3:30. Here's Kolofelo.
Thanks, Ashraf. Indeed, interesting developments right there. In the headlines at the hour, suspended Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Detection, Shadrack Sibiya, has questioned the participation of MK MP David Skosana on Parliament's ad hoc committee. The Madlanga Commission has run into technical difficulties that have the potential to threaten witness access life, and Madagascar's President Andry Rajoelina says he's dissolved Parliament, but the legality of his move is unclear as he has already fled the island. I'll have details at 4.
Right, as we get to other things, just remember this, right? This segment is sponsored by the special edition Hilux Legend 55. The Legend 55 is exclusive features like a branded styling bar, branded illuminated welcome lights, and 18-inch alloy wheels.
SAFM, guiding you through the rush hour traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting off in Gauteng, the M1 southbound slow moving towards Crown Interchange. In Pretoria, Graham Road eastbound has a crash reported near Struben Road, and Eupheus Road eastbound has delays towards Christina de Wit Avenue. In KZN, the N2 northbound queuing through the construction area north of Spaghetti Junction and South Coast Road has truck congestion reported in the Rosberg area. There's also track congestion in the Bayhead Umbilio area. In Cape Town, Owen Road and Elsie's Road has a crash between 35th Avenue and Donegal Avenue Road is closed to road users. The N1 outbound has a crash near Old Oak Road. Racecourse Road westbound in Milnerton has a truck crash reported opposite the Mediclinic. With your traffic update, I'm Irma G.
So I'm just wondering, we're going to talk, in fact, before we get to sport, let me remind you of this. For 55 years, Hilux has contributed to South Africa's toughest terrain. Now there's a new legend in the Hilux family. And it's not a bakkie, it's the new Hilux Legend 55.
It's not just a bakkie, it's the new Hilux Legend 55. So it's not just another launch, it's a legacy continued. It's not just an updated exterior, but sleek design with styling bar and roller shutter. It's not just Legend 55 badging, it's a legendary badge of honor. And you're not just a driver, but part of our community, our legacy, our legends. It's not a buggy, it's the new Hilux Legend 55.
This is SAFM Sports with Tumin Khapeli.
Okay, Chumi, now what are we going to be talking about today? Like, seriously?
I so wonder. A very good afternoon to you, Ashraf, and our listeners. Well, it's crunch time for Bafana Bafana, who take on Rwanda in a must-win 2026 World Cup qualifier at Mbombela Stadium this evening at 6 p.m. Head coach Hugo Bruce has called on Stellenbosch striker Ashley Cupido to replace Lyle Foster, who's injured. On Bafana's social pages, the changes come after consultation with the medical team, which led to Foster being replaced.
I think Lyle became a very important player for us. We have to admit that. And he was a little bit unlucky Friday also. When you see his previous games, he nearly every time scored a goal. He had a very big chance, and on the line they saved it. But he's a very important player. But Yeah, and Bokazi became also a very important player, but they will not be there tomorrow. So we have to be confident and believe in the players who are there. I give them, from my side, my confidence and my trust, and then see what happens tomorrow. But again, this is not a coach who are doubting now about what will happen tomorrow, of doubting about qualities of some players or players who are not there or whatever.
Well, a must win for Bafana to keep any hopes alive for reaching the World Cup. However, the journey does not end there. Should they get the 3 points, all focus will then be on Nigeria to beat Benin. But if Benin win, Bafana will need a number of other results from other groups to be in their favor, which is a very long shot. Remember that only top teams in each group automatically advances, or really one can say that they qualify for the World Cup. Then the 4 best second place teams progress to a knockout tournament to determine Africa's representative at the Inter-Confederation playoff. So that's how things stand.
Let me just clear this up for us. So I was also under that impression. Well, I know that the second base, there's 9 second base teams. Also 4 of the 9 groups, right? The second best team goes into this knockout stage. Mm-hmm. But I understand, and you don't count the scores of your results against the last team in the group, which is Zimbabwe. Yeah. So I understand from the points, and I haven't checked it, that South Africa can't actually become one of the 4 second best teams. Is that correct?
Tough, yeah.
So that means there is no second best. It's first or bust. Oh, okay.
Well, talking about Bafana, here's Rwanda's national team head coach Adel Mrouge talking about their approach tonight.
In reality, I was not expected we are going to meet in this situation. I was thinking we are going in other scenario, but football decide, or the god of the football decide the thing is going to be like that. I was thinking all these teams is going to be happy, but it's impossible in football, or we can be happy, because you must one be happy and other. So this is football, this is the rule of football.
Well, elsewhere, Lionel Messi has rejoined the Argentina squad and could feature in today's friendly against Puerto Rico. Messi missed the 1-0 win over Venezuela to play for Inter Miami at the weekend, but Coach Scaloni says that he will speak to the 38-year-old about his fitness before deciding if he plays today. The match against Puerto Rico will take place at Inter Miami's home venue, Chase Stadium, and that is in Florida after being moved from Chicago. This is due to security and logistical concerns. In cricket, South Africa were 51-2 at stumps in their second innings of the first test against Pakistan, and they need another 226 runs to win. Earlier on, Suniran Mutusami took 5 for 57 for match figures of 11 for 74 as the Proteas dismissed the hosts for 167 in their second innings, and Mutusami has now become the 4th Proteas spinner to register a 10-wicket haul in test matches. Still staying with cricket from the women's side of things, Proteas woman Tyron Chloe says that the gap between traditional powerhouses and emerging teams in women's cricket is now narrowing, and that the results speak for themselves. This is after South Africa beat Bangladesh by 3 wickets yesterday, and Tyron believes that the competitive edge across the tournament is a clear sign of the sport's global growth.
Every single game is important in this World Cup. You're not taking anything for granted. And I feel like Bangladesh came really hard at us today and, put us in really tough situations. So I think for us, just making sure that we're still playing our brand of cricket. But I definitely feel like the gap is closing. And every single game has been exciting, but a little bit nervous at sometimes. But I'm just happy that we're finding ways to get over the line. And it's just really exciting for the women's game to see how exciting the games are and how that gap is closing and just seeing the young talent on stage, which is really awesome to see.
In terms of hockey, SA Hockey's men's captain Dan Kasim says that they're very happy to have finally kicked off their 2026 FIH World Cup qualifying journey on a positive note. This is after their opening match was a walkover. South Africa were due to face Zambia in their Men's Hockey Africa Cup of Nations campaign opener on Saturday, but the opponents failed to pitch in Egypt, resulting to a 5-0 walkover, but getting their first taste of action and a 3-1 win over Kenya on Sunday was definitely enough to settle their nerves after being taken aback by the Zambians' no-show. That's it from my side for now. I'll have more in the next hour.
Okay, and more is... Okay, I'm just confirming again, getting my head around it. I did say yesterday it's a game of 4 halves, not 2 halves, right? Because that Nigeria game is as critical as our game, right? But we now know that the option of second place is not an option any longer. Yeah. Okay.
It's a long shot. It's a
No,
long
it's
shot.
not a
if it
long
does.
shot. I don't think it's a long shot because I think the good news is Nigeria know that if they win and if we lose, they'll qualify for the World Cup. And I believe if they win and if other results don't go their way, they can still finish second in the playoffs. So the good news is our rivals have an up against a team that has a big interest in qualifying. The worst is when they're up against a team that's got no interest in qualifying because they can just chill. Nigeria will not chill.
Of course.
Yeah. So we need each other at this point in time.
We do.
You're listening to the National Pulse on SAFM.
Right, by the way, what about your thoughts on some of the issues? You can send us WhatsApp voice notes now. We won't play it right now, but we will certainly take it and bank it. 0614 104 107 on the ad hoc committee once again, but also on Bafana and this night with Destiny that happens at 6 p.m. today. But right now there's a different source of Destiny taking place. It's the ad hoc committee in Parliament, and let's get right over there.
I don't know whether it was an authentic document that was leaked to the media, but it seemed to have investigation from the IG report. So that part I don't know. I see it from a distance.
During your evidence, you spoke about a meeting with the National Commissioner and the Minister and other high-ranking officers where Matlala and his contract with the police was discussed. Is that correct?
That's correct.
The Minister asked what was known about the tender and he asked that Matlala be investigated.
That's correct.
I'm puzzled as to why it was dependent upon the Minister, a newcomer to this space, to ask for him to be investigated. Why didn't somebody in the police, you all have years of experience, why didn't somebody in the police actually think of that themselves and do it?
This is when the stories of Mr. Matlala were gaining momentum and about the tender. That's how the minister got to ask and say, I get this information. What happened here? Can the auditors, internal audit and others, please investigate this thing as to how did this man get this tender? Were there any irregularities and that? And a response came and the minister gave an order that it be cancelled.
Okay, but that only answers half the question. The other part of the question is, why did nobody in the police take the initiative to do this investigation? If the minister could read about it in the press, so could everybody in the South African police. Why didn't somebody do something? Why didn't you do something?
I could only do something about it if I knew about it. But up until we saw a letter from IDEC questioning that part and say, why is this thing happening? Because we are investigating this thing. So there's not much anymore I can do when already IDEC is saying they are working on it. And as far as I'm concerned, Chair, many a times I like it when there is an investigation, even if it includes me or it involves me or where I could be closer to it. If it is investigated from outside, be it IDEC, DPCI, or IPIT, to me, I feel comfortable if it's a neutral body investigating. Not these things that we see in the subs now, where you find that they let very junior officials are chasing after a deputy national commissioner every day, saying that, no, we are investigating the deputy national commissioner. They've got this excitement of using very junior member to chase after a senior member. I don't know if we were to turn the tide and do the same to some senior top official members, and you set some constables and sergeants to run after him and investigate him and embarrass him. This is not right.
So General, is there political interference in the police? Are there attempts to influence the direction of investigations, particularly with regards to corruption and politically connected people? Does that happen?
The first part of the question I didn't hear.
Is there political interference in the police? Are there attempts to influence the direction of investigations, particularly with regard to corruption and politically connected individuals?
So far, I've never been interfered with from any minister or deputy minister. I don't know of any political interference. And in relation to this disbandment of the task team, I received a directive from the National Commissioner. It is between the National Commissioner and the minister to decide whether there's political interference or not.
I'm not talking about the political killings task team in general. I'm talking about in general.
In general,
are you aware of political interference in the South African police?
I don't know of any.
So you've never been asked to investigate or not investigate anybody?
I've never been tasked to investigate anybody, any official from the side of the minister.
In your view, is the top management of the South African police capable of running the police in the best interests of South Africans?
Yes, they are capable. When I look at the statistics and in the meetings that I've said, where we said as a team, when we're really working and we're working hard, there's a difference, there's hard work that has been done. It is unfortunate that you do have this other people who come in and cause division within the police.
Who comes in and causes division in the police?
There are people who go and whisper to the minister. Chair, what I want to say is that just after I came back, someone intelligence, they went to Minister Kele. They said, Minister, do you know that you agreed that General Sibiya must come back? And you just promoted him, but you know that he's investigating you. And the minister was very angry and said, but why is Sibiya doing this? Because, I didn't even object that he must come back, but I hear that he's investigating me. At that time, I don't even have a team. I know nothing. And the minister he was not angry, but when I saw the minister, I could see that he's looking at me in a dim view. Then I went to the National Commissioner and said, hey, NASCOM, what is going on? I hear 1, 2, 3, 4. He said, yeah, it did happen, but I told him that, no, it's not true. I told the minister, no, it can't be true. Then they go to the National Commissioner. They say to the National Commissioner, are you aware that Sibiya wants your job, is mobilizing for your job? Then the National Commissioner woke up at night and he went to see the mother of my child, who's my colleague then, went to visit her and say, hey, do you know that Sibiya wants my job? And then I had to write a long message to the National Commissioner to assure him that, National Commissioner, I've never been in uniform all my life. I've never been a station commander, a cluster commander or a provincial commissioner. I'm not interested to become a national commissioner. Please, I'm interested in the DPCI, but not here. And then he said, no, thank you very much. Please keep it the way you are. And the next thing, it never stopped. It went on and on and on and on, with the national commissioner thinking that I want him out.
So don't you want to be the national commissioner?
I don't think that is where I want to be, but if I'm approached, I would go for the opportunity. My role is that they've worked hard to try and speak to, when you look at artificial intelligence and all the negative stories are said about me, whether it's Senzo Meyiwa, what they do is they just throw my name and then it will replicate into 1,000 that talks about negative things about you. Everything that you say, it just turned into artificial intelligence. Just to speak bad about my name in such a way that even tomorrow when I have to occupy a position, a consideration is to be made. They will say, this one is too controversial, or this one has a lot of issues. This is the intention.
General, I understand that this process is painful and it's not the first time you're going through it. But this isn't only about you. You understand that? This is about South Africa. And my question to you was, do you think the top management of the South African police are capable of running the police service in a fashion that is in the best interests of South African citizens? And And you said yes, but just the state of the country, the level of crime, South African Police Service is not managing to do a good job. I understand that there are thousands of policemen who go to work every day, and thank God for them, who do a great job. But we're not managing. And something will have to change. You have to do something differently. And what is that going to be?
I must indicate, Chair, the National Commissioner of the South African Police Service, the current National Commissioner, is very experienced. And he knows his job. He knows what he's doing. And he knows how to deploy. And he knows how to build a team at some point. He knows how to look at the situation. Let's take, for an example, the elections. And he knows how to plan, put a proper plan together that will actually result into zero incidents throughout the country. And when you look at the statistics, they are green, 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 green. So I can't sit here and say, no, they are not capable. They are capable. There are challenges, yes, but they are capable.
Okay, General, my last question. When you took over crime intelligence, what did you do to clean it up? Because Lord knows it was a mess. Can you tell us today that it's better?
It was a mess, but when I came in, it was run by General Khumalo. I have received a number of complaints that affect him, and I've also received a number of complaints from the generals that report to him. But unfortunately, it is a space that I was entirely not in control of, because General Khumalo has got a special relationship with the National Commissioner. That is why
I'm looking at this quick comment from Brian saying one thing about Shadrack Sibiya, he has done his homework about what to expect from the Q&A. Okay, that's his comment. We'll rejoin the ad hoc parliamentary commission right after this.
The Iron Union want to settle in the top half, while the Folks refuse to stop fighting. They plan to escape from the danger zone. This is the Bundesliga. Football as it's meant to be. Catch FC Union Berlin as they tackle Borussia Mönchengladbach on Friday, 17 October at 8:30 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 and everywhere for everyone. Always on SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
You could spend 10 minutes hunting for the TV remote or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. SMS out to 30754. Like 29-year-old Sana, who now pays an incredibly low 796 Rand a month for her 2025 Jetour Dashing. With Outsurance Comprehensive, you get 24/7 roadside assistance in case you break down, run out of petrol, lock your keys in the car, and more. SMS out to 30754. Get used to getting more. After switching, 65-year-old Helena now pays only 398 Rand a month for her 2025 Hyundai Exter. Not an Outsurance client yet? Get a quick and easy quote today. If Outsurance can't beat what you're paying, ask them for 500 Rand. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Savings or cash, you have nothing to lose. SMS out to 30754. That's out to 30754. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online. Limits apply.
The National Pulse, weekdays, 3 to 6 p.m.
Right after 4, we will take a look at a deep dive into that Bafana crucial game against Rwanda. We'll also look into the issue of the suspension of the HOD of Gauteng Health. All of that comes up later, but right now, let's get back to the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee.
You know, in Parliament, we normally say we should not display anything. There's an outcry against one of our members, who happens to be my chairperson, that he's advertising on his next to, I think, on his tie. On television, it's very clear. And that company in particular, they are bidding, within our space, of the SAPS. So I just want us to please just ask our member to, hide that company's name.
The chairperson is me here.
No, of SAPS. I'm sorry. Honorable Cameroon.
Honorable Cameron.
Yes.
What is being advertised?
No, they are complaining about what he's wearing. There's a name which shows on television.
The lanyard.
Okay. I won't mention the name because if I mention the name, then the brand will.
I'm not
Thank you.
the lanyard that he's wearing, is it branded? Is that what you are saying?
Yeah, this is the Glock one. Sometimes I wear a CZ one. Other days, Canik. I can do Taurus as well, Chair. There's a whole variety. I like shooting and spending time on a range with sport shooting especially. So if they've got a formal complaint, please do, because that means that some of the members I saw the other day was wearing Gucci or Prada shoes. They should also not mention or wear those, Chair. Chair, I'm sorry, that's ridiculous.
This at breaks. I have been trying to avoid them, and I thought honourable members have listened when you remember when we spoke about the vehicle. I kept on using the word vehicle without trying to go to the details. And whatever brands that we may know, let us not use the platform of Parliament to advertise those brands, including Skosana, Honorable Skosana, including that one that is before you. Is it an empty can or an empty bottle? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. There was let me tell you, and you see, let me tell you how I like it. When we break, Chief Whip, when we break, members of this committee are the ones who come to the chair and say, let us not do this and that, because the people that we lead do not have the luxury that we have. And I think we must just keep it like that. Yeah. So if it may appear like there is a brand which is being advertised, Honorable Cameron, I don't think that you consciously came here to advertise that brand. And you can still try your best not to be seen advertising it. Thank you so much. Honorable Klopper.
Thank you, Chair, and we'll get back to the matters of national importance. Good day, General Sibiya. Lieutenant General, I would like to revisit a point that you made during the evidence leaders' questioning about the alleged messages that could be on your phone, which was allegedly connected to the so-called spyware communication. When you were asked what would happen if you landed and your phone was seized, you said you would confidently be able to deny that messages existed, and even if they showed you, you would be able to confidently deny them. Is that accurate?
Yes, Chair.
Then you added something very important, General Sibiya. You said it's crime intelligence. Anything is possible. What exactly did you mean by that?
What I mean is that, Chair, having listened to the bail application in Mr. Matlala's bail application, where a mention was made that the phone was seized, and the next thing there was some tampering and messages inserted or deleted. So I'm not sure of the situation, whether it's true or not. But what I can just simply say and repeat in this House, Chair, is that I don't know who Comrade or Keida Matebula is, and then it's not my language. I don't have Keidas. So there are just some of the statements that you outrightly deny, reject from the start because it's not you. Whether they are there or not, This one I'll blatantly just reject. It's not like there's anything dangerous on that message. It's just a message that was sent. But looking at the way it is, it's just a kind of a message that you just outright reject.
General, you said you made no hints at possible insertions and deletions of messages. Are you suggesting that crime intelligence could plant or manipulate data on your device?
That's doable.
Sorry?
That's doable.
It's doable. Do you really believe that the members of Crime Intelligence Division are capable of this type of conduct? Falsifying or fabricating evidence on a senior officer's phone?
With what I've seen when they seized the laptop of the ballistic expert and I was told that it was tampered with, to me is evident enough.
So,
all right, we'll pause there and we will cross back there as soon as we get an opportunity. But we will touch on the issue of the axing of the Department of Health and Gauteng Health. That comes up later on. Right now, we need to get up to date with the news in South Africa, around the world. Here's Kolofelo Tefu.
Thanks, Ashraf. Top stories at 4. KZN Premier comments on provincial government status and Madagascar President dissolves National Assembly. Good afternoon. KwaZulu-Natal Premier Thami Ntuli has dismissed claims that the provincial government is unstable. He was speaking on the sidelines of a Lekgotla with MECs and mayors on ways to promote service delivery and economic growth. Ntuli was asked to comment on a notice of a motion of no confidence that the MK Party submitted at the legislature. The MK Party says leadership from the Premier's office is weak and that Kokta MEC Thulasizo Buthelezi is responsible for the collapse of municipalities. This was Ntuli's reply.
So for a party to submit a motion of no confidence, I think it's craziness. There's no much basis that are there to say there's something wrong in the province or we're failing. Because we've been able to even rescue some departments that were struggling because of the financial pressures. We've been able to ensure that all departments are working, and for each and every challenges that we're faced with, we're able to provide solutions.
Suspended Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Detection, Shadrack Sibiya, has questioned the participation of MK MP David Skosana on Parliament's ad hoc committee. Sibiya is appearing before the committee for the second consecutive day. His argument was that Skosana laid a criminal complaint against him and that his continued participation could constitute a conflict of interest. Yesterday, the committee concluded it had no powers to remove a member of a party. Sibiya raised his concerns to the committee.
To me, it's a very serious concern. This is the member that I feel is working with General Mkhwanazi, because the statement that was used by the General Mkhwanazi's team to go and open a case, this name is there. Now I must stand before the same member to cross-examine or to ask me questions.
The failure of the inquest court of 1967 to evaluate and probe the testimony of witnesses about the death of former ANC leader Inkosi Albert Luthuli indicates that there was motive to conceal the truth. This is according to evidence leader advocate Anna Chweni, who is presenting closing arguments in the reopened inquest into Luthuli's death in the Pietermaritzburg High Court in KZN. The first inquest concluded that no foul play was suspected and that Luthuli was hit by a goods train. Advocate Chweni argued that the proceedings were hurried to ensure that no one was held accountable, including the train driver Stephanus Lategan.
A number of important discrepancies with respect to the version presented by the train staff at the 1967 inquest were noted by Labuschagne. He testified that train and locomotive regulations provide that before approaching a bridge, and when the train is at a point where there is a whistle board, the driver of the train must blow the whistle to warn any pedestrians near the bridge that the train is approaching. With the Umvoti River Bridge being a straight bridge, it is expected that if there was a pedestrian walking across the bridge, such pedestrian would have been clearly visible.
Remaining in the courts, Deputy Minister of Defence and Military Veterans Bantu Holomisa has taken the stand at the second sitting of the inquest into the deaths of the Craddock Four in the Gqeberha High Court in the Eastern Cape. Holomisa gave his testimony about a signal that was received to permanently remove Sicelo Mhlauli, Matthew Goniwe and Fort Kalata. The inquest seeks to determine whether anyone can be held liable for the deaths of Kalata, Goniwe, Mhlauli and Sperum Konto. Holomisa testified that he was given an envelope by Colonel Lawrence du Plessis containing information about the death of 3 Craddock 4 members.
During our meeting, he handed me a signal and a small brown envelope, which he said contained proof of his claims. I opened it and found a half-a-page signal from the South African Defence Force written in Afrikaans. The content was chilling. Signal slated in deliberately vague but unmistakable language that Matthew Goniwe and others were to be permanently removed from society.
And finally, Madagascar's President Andry Rajoelina says he's dissolved parliament, but the legality of his move is unclear as he has already fled the island. Rajoelina is insisting he won't resign. The president fled to an unknown location, saying he feared for his life after elite army unit joined youth-led protest against the government. The BBC's Semi Awami has the details.
I was speaking to senior Ikono in this elite unit, Kapsat, and I asked him who is in charge in the country, and he said that's a good question. So there is a massive leadership vacuum here that no one seems to know what is going on. I asked him again, does this make them feel like they want to step in and fill that vacuum? He said the army is not interested in taking over the country. And that's a sentiment actually we've been hearing from opposition, religious leaders, and even some of the army officials here.
The top story at 4, KwaZulu-Natal Premier Tami Ntuli has dismissed claims that the provincial government is unstable. I'll have headlines at 4:30 for SAFM News. I'm Kolofelo Defo.
In sports this hour, Ronan Williams eyes redemption. This is after 2020 World Cup qualifiers pain, 2025 World Cup qualifiers pain, and anticipation builds as SA20 Season 4 tickets officially go on sale. More details at 4:30.
SAFM, guiding you through the rush hour traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting off in Gauteng, the N3 northbound in Bedfordview, slow moving on the link to the N12 east at Kilulis interchange. The M1 southbound is slow moving towards Crown interchange, and Graham Road eastbound in Pretoria has a crash reported near Struben Road. In KZN, the M7 eastbound, truck congestion reported at South Coast Road, the N2 northbound queuing through the construction area north of Spaghetti Junction, and truck congestion in the Bayhead Umbilio area. In Cape Town, the N1 outbound has a crash near Old Oak Road. All lanes are open. Racecourse Road westbound in Milnerton has a truck crash reported opposite the Mediclinic, and on the N2 outbound slow-moving traffic towards Bunga Avenue. With your traffic update, I'm Irma G.
This October month, SAFM focuses on cybersecurity awareness. As we live more of our lives online, staying safe in the digital world has never been more important. From spotting cyber threats to protecting your personal data, SAFM brings you the conversations that empower you to stay secure. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. The National Pulse with Ashraf Garda on SAFM. You're listening to the National Pulse, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
Well, if you know about the heartbreaking news of the monies being siphoned off in hospitals in Gauteng, then this breaking story earlier today of Lesiba Malotana being placed on suspension with immediate effect by the Premier of Gauteng from his position as the Gauteng Department of Health's head of department may not surprise you. Now, the Premier Lesufi announced Malotana's suspension in the light of the revelations made regarding a procurement syndicate operating within the provincial structures. So let's get, a reaction certainly from the DA side. The DA Gauteng spokesperson for health is Madeline Hicklin. Appreciate your time and thanks for joining us on the National Pulse.
Thank you, Ashraf, and good afternoon to all your listeners.
Thank you. Okay, you know what's happened. What's your response?
My response is, why is he on suspension with full pay, and why is he not fired? This is not an allegation that one must take lightly. People have been denied access to healthcare. People have been denied access to life-saving cancer treatment under the watchful eye, in inverted commas, of this man. He has been linked to so many scandals about his own appointment, scandals linked to a multi-million rand bribe alleged to have taken place for the approval of a contract between him and other officials in the department and a corporation that saw him and other department officials earning between 8 and 10 million rand. His department underspent by 725 million rand in last year's financial year. 250 million rand was returned to the National Treasury. That money should have been given to cancer patients for treatment. How do you just suspend someone to sit at home on full pay when their own appointment has been questioned for 2 years anyway? His watchful eye is not a watchful eye. His name is synonymous with scandal. Let's not forget Babita Deokaran, who uncovered the 2 billion rand scandal at Tembisa Hospital, all under his watchful eye.
Okay, I think the point is made and everybody knows that. Help us understand the processes here from a provincial point of view. I mean, can a person, in this case, be axed as opposed to suspended by the Premier?
They must be. You cannot continue to reward corrupt officials by keeping them on suspension. You have to act in the best interests of the citizens, not in the best interests of a political party. When my colleague Jack Bloom asked Panyaza Lesupi, the Premier, whether Molotana had failed his lifestyle audit, Premier Lesupi said he was awaiting the finalization of the audit, but he's not accountable to the DA, he's accountable to the ANC. My answer to that is, Premier Lesupi, you were wrong. You are answerable to the citizens of Gauteng, not to internal factions of the ANC. You are employed to be the Premier of the citizens, not the Premier of the ANC. This is not a factional battle. This is your duty to look after the citizens of Gauteng. You have to provide services to the citizens of Gauteng. It is our most vulnerable communities that are the victims of this maladministration, this corruption. How can you reward people by putting them at home and leaving them on suspension on full pay? Fire people. Provide ethical leadership.
Okay,
I think
you made the point and you've repeated, and I hear that. I'm looking at the official statement from the Gauteng Premier, and they talk in terms of the provincial department, right? I've noticed, and I'm just quoting, the Gauteng provincial government reaffirms its full support for the work of the Special Investigating Unit and other law enforcement agencies. We remain steadfast in our commitment to root out maladministration and to uphold the highest standards of accountability and ethical leadership, right? Beyond that, there was no specific statement made by the Premier about the Lesiba Molotana, meaning there was nothing detailed about it, right? Does that surprise you, that there was no detailed mention?
Not at all. Not at all. He's been protecting Mr. Molotana for the last 2 years, and that's the point that we're trying to make. You cannot protect corrupt officials or even allegedly corrupt officials. If you go to the Western Cape, when an official is suspected of being corrupt, they are fired. You cannot protect incompetence. You cannot protect
Okay,
corrupt
I hear that. I think the
officials.
more question is not so much, let that take its course. The question is what happens next. Now, I see the DA leader in Gauteng, Solly Msimanga,
Yes.
and I'm quoting him saying, the whole department needs to be put under administration, and there needs to be a
100%.
forensic investigation into all the dealings that have happened recently in the department. Now, in the light of that, do I take it then from a DA perspective, from your party perspective, the battle has not stopped, it's only started in this case?
100%. 100%. It really is a case of watch this space, because the department itself is not clean. The department itself needs to be totally overhauled. Mr. Premier Lessufi has brought in Darian Barkley, and I'm hoping that he will be able to stabilize the ship until a complete overhaul of this department is done. There have been major gaps in accountability throughout the entire department, and until you clean ship, you cannot get accountability.
Okay, I hear that part. And I want to go back to 2 years ago. The DA once again opposed the appointment of the said person at that time. Why was that opposed at that time?
Because of his qualifications were in question. His qualifications were in question in terms of whether they were appropriate for the position and whether they were gotten legally. And nothing has changed. That investigation has never, the results of that investigation have never been made known either.
Okay,
and there are so many unanswered questions all along the line, Ashraf.
Okay, let's leave it at that. That's certainly from your perspective, and I'm sure others will have another, well, not another view. They have their own views on that. Madeline Hicklin, the DA Gauteng spokesperson for health, thank you for your time. So what do you make of it? Certainly he's been suspended, so there's action taken. The DA is saying no, not suspend, X the person. The DA Premier saying for Gauteng, saying that's not Premier. In fact, from Gauteng saying, no, that's not enough. The DA leader, I should say, from Gauteng saying that's not enough. A lot more needs to happen. In fact, a whole group of people need to be held under account, and the administration needs to be put under administration. I wonder what do you make of all of that? Now, if you have a view on that, and I'm sure you do, I'd like to hear from you. So you can call in live. You can do that right away, and you can WhatsApp immediately as well. All in all, you are connected to the National Pulse.
Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and a whole country affected by gender-based violence. All on your favorite SABC radio station. Call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. You're listening to the National Pulse on SAFM.
Okay, there's further developments around other issues that we want to pick on. The President, Cyril Ramaphosa, is briefing the National Council of Provinces, that's the NCOP, in Parliament on various national developments, including efforts to better monitor service delivery and the quality of services offered by all government spheres. Maybe that's central to what many people feel is just so wrong in what we do, right? So the President did, and this is important, did, however, take the time to address the issue of his relationship with Rangwani Maumela. And this is what the President said.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Yes, this matter has occupied the headlines for quite a number of days now. My spokesperson, Mr. Vincent Magwenya, addressed the media yesterday in response to what they say was a video and a photograph. And he focus on that, and he explained what is my relationship or at all with this person. Now, 47 years ago, I got married to his father's sister, his aunt. We divorced 43 years ago. And when I said to Honorable Steenhuisen in 2022, when he asked whether I knew him, I said I did not know him because I had never encountered him, I had never seen him, and that was gospel true. Now, later in 2023, as I was walking in the street in my neighborhood, I walked past a house, as Mr. Magwenya said. I'm now promoting him to a minister. As Mr. Magwenya said yesterday, I was walking in a street where I usually walk, and even this morning, coming here, my convoy drives past that house. There are 2 entrances to where I live, or 3, and it is the thoroughfare, the way where we drive and where I also walk. So in 2023, I was walking, as Mr. Magwenya said, with one of my colleagues who was my then advisor, who is now a deputy minister, taking a walk in the morning. And I often say, when people say, we want to meet you, Mr. President, I said, no, come at 6 o'clock. Come and walk with me. And then you will have me for an hour and a half as we do our 10-kilometer walk or so. So I was walking with Mr. Sibiya, and as we were walking past a house which I saw in construction for quite a while, and I kept asking, whose house is this? It is a massive house, and I wanted to know whose house it is, and I never got the information. So walking there, a car comes past, and I always mispronounce this person's name, Thibo Touch or something like that. He gets out of the car with another gentleman. He wants to talk to me, to photograph, and all that. So we stop. And now we are against the wall of this massive house. And that's where the photograph happens and the video. So then the allegation is the person who was in the photograph is Maumela. It was not Maumela. It was Mr. Thibo Touch and Mr. Jones from the United States, I later learned. So there was this brouhaha that, yes, I visit his home on a regular basis and so forth. I can say I walk past that house when I go on my walks. Now, in 2024, so it should be known, because Mr. Magwenya only focused on this photograph. In 2024, I am walking on that same street, and a person comes out of this house, and he greets me. And as I often meet people, I ask them, who are you? He says, I am Hangwani Maumela. And that's how he introduces himself to me. And I say, so you are the Maumela who is putting my name into disrepute. And he smiles away. And now I've encountered this person, and I walk away. And I walk to my home. And then in 2024, on the 26th of December, I am walking with my daughter, who loves walking too, on the same street. And there this young man comes out and he says, hello, Boramaphosa, my mother is here. Can you say hello to her? And I say, who is she? He says, it's Mboneni Maumela. Now, when I was at school in Papuli High School with my then wife, Hope Mudau, her brother was also there. And later I got to know that this Mboneni and this my wife's brother, my former wife's brother, they hooked up, and as they hooked up, they had a child. And this is now Hangwani Maumela, whom I did not know. But I know his mother because we were at school together. So he says, my mother is here. Can you say hello to her? And she's coming out of the yard towards the main gate. And as she's wearing a gown, a morning gown. And I immediately say, I can't allow her to come into the street with a morning gown. And I go towards the gate and I greet her and I say, how are you? How have you been? That's the sum total of it all. And I walk away. Now, when I walk around, I'm often greeted by people. One time I was walking in a street in Parkhurst. And as I was walking, here comes a man with his 2 children. And he says, Mr. President, can we take a photograph with you? And I say, no, that's fine. I pose, they take a picture. Little did I know that he is going to send a message on the street WhatsApp group, which said, the president is walking in our street. So I continue walking. I see people coming out and greeting. But then the reason I mention this is that there is a woman who opens the gate, closed gate of her yard. She's got 2 children. She says, Mr. President, can I take a picture of you and my children? But she's wearing a morning gown. I don't want her to come into the street. So I move towards the gate, slightly inside the gate, so that she can take a picture. So this is what often happens to me. I'm going to write a book about my morning encounters with South Africans, because some of them are quite interesting and exciting. So this is how this Maumela fellow then gets into this whole drama, because his aunt, who is my former wife of 47 years ago, is his aunt. And he is really not my relative as such. So I have encountered him, and you can make what you like of it. Do I deal with him? No. Do I meet him and sit down with him? No. Do I visit him at his house? No. Am I appalled at the allegations that are being made against him? Yes, I am appalled. And as I walk past that house, I know that that house was built with the money, as it is alleged, that was not properly acquired. And it is money that should have been spent on the health of our people. So the SIU has taken action, and I applaud that. And that is why I say we are making progress. The Special Investigating Unit is reclaiming stolen money, and we must support them and applaud them for the work that they are doing. Thank you.
Okay, that's the president giving his story. What do you make of that? How does his story for you check out? Of course, you can't verify it, but I mean, in terms of the essence of what he's saying, I mean, are you okay with that? Or do you find there's still many holes in that story? Right, let's get to further comments from you about the story.
Hi, good afternoon. This is John from Pretoria. Guys, you can hear this is a story, man. You can even hear the lilt in his voice. He's coming with nonsense. He knows the people. There's a typical ANC smoke and thunder to get away from everything else. So, you know what? I think he's wasting his time. He's wasting his breath. He's corrupt. It's his family. He's ANC. They're all the same.
Okay, you've given us your story.
Ashraf, I can't say this thing in English. Maybe your team there's one who knows this is Zulu. I'm just going to say, President Ramaphosa usixoxela inganekwane. Yes, this guy is a storyteller. Unbelievable. Thanks, Ashraf.
Okay, there we are. Okay, and he's confirming, like what you're just saying, it's a fairy tale. And many people, I mean, just a few so far saying the same thing. Let's get another.
Good afternoon, Ashraf. Hope you're well. You know, I listened to the president's speech on Vincent Magwenye's response, and yeah, it's unbelievable. I actually can't believe it. The president said, wow, what a fantastic house he walked past. He'd like to know who stays there, and no one told him. Now you tell me the security protocol in this country is so sadly shocking and lacking that the president and his security detail don't know who stays in close proximity to him. So it could have been terrorists that owned that house and are planning a bombing on the president's house. I mean, honestly, do you really think people believe his comments? Mark from Cape Town.
Okay, Mark certainly put his, you've nailed your colours to the mast on that one. Many may say the same thing too. We'll get further comments on the president's story, fairy tale or no fairy tale. What about the other fairy tale of Bafana Bafana? We'll talk about that just now. Right now, let's get the news headlines. It's 4:30. Here's Colafelo.
Thanks, Ashraf. In the headlines, the SAWA Health Minister Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi says he is confident that the rollout of the antiretroviral medication lenacapavir will greatly help combat South Africa's HIV and AIDS epidemic. KwaZulu-Natal Premier Tami Ntuli has dismissed claims that the provincial government is unstable. And further afield, a Japanese court has sentenced a man to death for murdering 2 neighbors and 2 police officers in a case that shocked Japan 2 years ago. Greg Hose has the details at 5.
SAFM, guiding you through the rush hour traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting off in Gauteng, the N1 northbound and four-ways has a crash before Winnie Mandela Drive. The N1 southbound, a stationary vehicle before Rigel Avenue, and Eskempa-Hleli Drive northbound has delays towards Moot Street. In KZN, the M7 eastbound is where truck congestion is reported at South Coast Road, so you're asked to expect delays. In Cape Town, Baden-Powell Drive in Khayelitsha has a crash at Jafta K. Masimola Road. Albert Road outbound is slow moving through Woodstock, and the M5 southbound slow moving towards Racecourse Road exit. With your traffic update, I'm Irma G.
This is SAFM Sports with Tuming Kapele.
Yeah, man, all eyes on 6 o'clock. That's all I can tell you.
And Bafana Bafana captain Ronald Williams says that the team is ready to rewrite history at the Mbombela Stadium tonight when they face Rwanda in a must-win World Cup qualifier. The Mbombela Stadium is infamously remembered for the dance of shame when Bafana danced around the match venue thinking that they had qualified for the 2012 Africa Cup of Nations under then coach Pitso Mosimane.
I believe in fairy tales because when they asked us last month, where do we want to play? Most of the players said it's either Port Elizabeth or Cape Town because of the support that we got. And then for some weird reason, we just heard that we're coming to Mbombela. And maybe now it's time to right our wrongs from so many years ago. Because people still mention that. And that is something that sits with Bafana Bafana will probably be there forever. So hopefully tomorrow we can rewrite the script. And like I said, I believe in fairy tales. Tomorrow we go again. Calculators will be out at Mbombela. So hopefully things can go in our favor now. You know, hopefully the football gods will be on our side. And tomorrow we all will be dancing. Maybe we'll rock that same dance that they done that time.
Ashraf, I am giggling because it seems like Bafana has embraced the calculator situation.
Well, I think it's less of a calculator. It's more straightforward, really.
Anyway,
straightforward in terms of it's out of their hands, but they have got to win.
They have to. They don't have a choice. But let's hear from former Bafana Bafana coach Stuart Baxter, who says that the sooner the team can accept the situation they're in, the sooner they can focus fully on this evening's do-or-die World Cup qualification match against Rwanda.
I'm guessing that one of the battles that the South African players and the coaching staff are going to have is that the disappointment of having to go through this when it was looking so rosy will be a tough mental one to fight. But the truth is that it is like that, and the whys and the wherefores are not important at this moment. It's just do whatever they can to get over the line, and I'm sure they will.
I mean, just talking about that ranking of second place teams, I mean, earlier on you did mention that obviously Bafana are out of the race. I'm looking at the table. There's 9 teams. South Africa is second from the bottom. We're only higher than Namibia. We have 11 points and Namibia has 9. At number 1 is Gabon with 16 points. There's 3 teams with 15 points. It's Cameroon, Burkina Faso and Niger. And then at number 5 is DR Congo. Then at number 6 is Madagascar, then Uganda, then South Africa.
But can I tell you something? I mean, this thing is a bit bizarre that we're being punished by our win against the team that's bottom, so they disregard the bottom team like Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a bit bizarre. What should happen is if they're going to factor in second place teams, and let's say there's 8, I know it's 9, right? Ideally, you say quarterfinal, semi-final, quarters and semi, if I can call it that. So they're done. That means every one of these group stages must be reckoned with. You can't disregard it.
I know.
But I mean,
guess,
they can't go and complain about it now. That's the rules. Yeah.
I guess FIFA is just saying we want fairness, and to them this is some sort of fairness. But in cricket, fans have the opportunity to get tickets for the season 4 of SA20 as they went on sale today. The anticipated 4th season will take place in a new festive window between the 26th of December this year to the 25th of January next year, giving holiday goers and those on staycations access to non-stop cricket action and entertainment. The opening match at Newlands on Boxing Day between defending champions MI Cape Town and Durban Super Giants really promises to be a great one to start the season. In swimming, South Africa's swimmers secured 1 gold and 3 bronze medals at the first stop of the World Aquatic Swimming World Cup in the United States, finishing 10th on the overall medal table. The competition, which kicked off the short course season, took place between the 10th and the 12th of October. Chris Smith producing a breakthrough performance, claiming gold in the men's 50-meter breaststroke. Then Rebecca Meadows secured 2 podium finishes and set an African record. She earned bronze in the women's 200-meter breaststroke, and she also returned to the pool to secure another bronze in the 200-meter individual medley, breaking down her own South African and African record with a time of 2 minutes and 5.56 seconds. And veteran star Chad Leclerc contributed to the medal tally, claiming bronze in the men's 100-meter butterfly in 49.57 seconds. On that note, it's a wrap from my side for now. I'll have more in the next hour.
Okay, we'll certainly look forward to that. Thank you.
Economic news on SAFM. Facts and figures you can count on.
Let's get to those facts and figures with Makwe Masilela, as always, the Chief Investment Officer at Makwe Fund Managers. You've got local and global news, but let's start with the interims for Bytes Technology.
Yes, Ashraf, these guys were unbundled from Altron in December 2020, and their gross profit was impacted by the Microsoft partner incentive changes, and operating profit down 7% impacted by 12% headcount increase, higher salaries and national insurance costs, and their profits as headline earnings per share down 5.1%, but interim dividend up 3.2%. Markets were not happy, share price was down almost 9%, and yes, today China vowed to fight until the end. That's against any U.S. measures, saying U.S. cannot seek talks while also making threats. This rhetoric prompted market participants to pay back the risk. And as from today, China and U.S. will begin charging each other what they call port fees on ocean shipping firms, making the high seas a key front when it comes to the trade war. And China subsequently sanctioned the U.S. units of South Korean shipping giant. So that escalated trade tensions, and market participants continue to expect interest rate cuts later this month. And all this are happening, Ashraf, at a time when stocks look stretched. That's after that relentless rally that we've been experiencing. And Ashraf, about 54% of fund managers believe that AI stocks are in a bubble. And let's just hope it's not going to end up being a self-fulfilling prophecy. And the IMF now predicts global real GDP growth to be at 3.2% as an improvement, but they warned against market correction. And locally, we've seen mining production decreasing by 0.2%. That's after rising by 5.1% in July. Oil prices pressurized by the U.S.-China trade tension, and also the International Energy Agency raised the prospect of increased supplies and weaker demand. We see Brent crude is down 2% at $61 a barrel. The euro metal spiked to new record highs at the back of renewed trade tensions and also the increased batch of US rate cuts. We see gold is up 0.5% at 4,130. Platinum is down 1.5% at 1,635. As we're about to see, we hope that we are not about to see the replay of April. That's when trade tensions rattled global stocks, and I guess it's anyone's guess. And local post today is down 0.4%, and the rand has now weakened 0.6% against the dollar. Is now 17.41, 23.15 against the pound, and 20.17 against the euro.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for that. And don't forget, we've got the markets, 1 hour of the markets from 6 to 7 still to come this evening.
X at SAFM Radio and at Ashraf Garda.
Right, let us get to... So here's another view, because I did say, you must have another view on the president. Well, here's one.
Hi, Ashraf. Personally, I think we are being unfair towards the president because no one has come with an accusation to say he benefited financially from what happened at Tembisa Hospital, or that he directed that tender so that Maumela may benefit. Everyone is saying they are family, and therefore the president is guilty of what Maumela is guilty of because they are family. I think that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Well, I think I take your point on that one. Not I think. If that's the case, there are so many people politically related to each other in the country. Does that mean if one is accused of something, all are accused at the same time? And we don't have the facts, and we have to be clear about that too.
I should have got sorry. I think the analogy of our president is convincing, the way he's narrating the story. So, hands off our president, even if we got plenty of negativity in the country. I think the story is correct. He's a Jimmy man, he's always fit. He's a celebrity of the country, so he's our father of the nation. Submission, WP Ramsey Limpopo.
He's a celebrity of our country. He's our father. I've never heard anybody say that about the president before, but there we are. You always the first time. Right, here's another.
When we were growing up, our grandmother used to tell us fairy tales. And they used to say, when you listen to fairy tales during the daylight, you will grow horns in your forehead. Now, what the president is saying to us is putting us into trouble because we grow horns. You cannot tell a fairy tale on the daylight. It's Moses from Devon.
Okay, and there is more, right? Here's another.
Hi, Ashraf. You are a radio announcer. You are a journalist. How many times have we seen the president walking around? He used to do it even in Cape Town. He used to walk around, even during COVID, after COVID. We used to see the videos of him walking around. So whether we agree, we believe what his story or not, but the bottom line is true that we have seen the videos of him walking around. Don't you remember that? If these people are saying that the security around the president, etc., is slacks, whatever, the bottom line is we have seen the videos of him walking around. Come on, Ashraf.
Well, you're right. Of course he's walked around. And you're right. Mandela did the same thing as well. Of course they've got security. So you're quite right. Like, this is not someone who has never walked in his life. And somebody saying, but by the way, I do walks every day. It's like, no, we've never seen you. So you are right about that.
Good day, Ashraf. Is there anyone keeping up with their in-laws after the divorce? Say 30 years divorce or 20 years. Are we still keeping up with who's who in those families? I doubt. I've never seen that happening. Thank you. You can make your own judgment on that one.
Okay.
Thank you. This is Mutsuni. Thank you.
Thanks, Mutsuni. There's so many comments about the president.
Ashraf, good afternoon. It's Kosnat here. Look, my brother, you see, Mr. President will never agree to anything. First, he told us that he never knew that there was a man under mattress. So, No wonder if he said he don't know that Hangwan. He know him. He know him.
Okay, there we are. That's another comment. And wait, let me just pick it up. There's another. Here's one.
To Ashraf, I fully concur with your guest. It's high time that we implement consequences management to these criminals and corrupt officials in our government. You can't suspend someone who looted the state resources and stealing money from the poor. You suspend him with a full pay. Why can't we fire? Those people must be fired, not be suspended. Why are they suspended? Somebody has been stealing 2 years, for almost 2 years. Come on.
And here's another.
Afternoon, Ashraf. This is Songdaga in Umtata. Listening to the TA, they have been fighting the gentleman from his first appointment, that is 2 years ago. Don't you think also the officials that belong to the TA would work to sabotage him because they know that their party is against the person? What would she say on that? Because he could not be the only one who fails the department. It means even the officials that he has to work with, if they belong to the TA, they have to do what their party does. Much as Skosana is a member of MK, he says when he went to play a charge, he represented TA. What does he represent now at Parliament?
All right, I hear that about laying a charge. And there's more. There's such a diversity. This one, a general statement about South Africa.
Ashraf, it's a joke. It's a joke. This country is a joke. It's a movie. It's a film set. I don't know. I've long said it. We are on autopilot. We are on autopilot in this country. No one, the government, politicians don't take the people serious. And the day the citizens decide also not to take the government serious and remove the government, that's the best day that South Africa will have. Right now, it's just stories. I don't know my family member. I don't know the house. I don't.
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay.
Eddie from Pulugwan.
Thanks, Eddie. But it's not impossible to not know a person that you knew, that you related to 30 years ago. I mean, we can all think about people like that. I mean, I'm just saying it's not impossible that could be the case, is it?
Good afternoon, Ashraf. This is Flores from the beautiful Winelands. Panyaza Lesufe is a liar. He is arrogant. I just don't like the style of that man. Have you seen what he did with the green beans? Man, he has taken them for a ride. And yeah, it's his comrade, it's his cadre. He will keep him on suspension with full pay because that's what these guys do. They steal and loot. Sish, Panyaza. Have a good show. Bye-bye.
Okay, there we are. Well, listen, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but you can't mix arrogance with being right. Arrogance is a perception, but doesn't mean he doesn't make good decisions. I'm not saying he makes all good decisions.
Hello, Ashraf. This is Tippy. So, as they always say that there are two sides, which is not. I think there are three sides of the story, which is your side and my side, and I guess in the middle, there's the truth. But in Sibiya's case, I just find him too good to be true, to be honest with you. I listened to his opening statement yesterday. The first 20 minutes of listening to it, I was just like 10 off, and I just had to switch it off. So I haven't even listened to his, testimony, because you can just tell that the man has actually benefited from the Kukuja, and it's just only a matter of time that could be proven.
Okay, maybe that last part is most telling. Could be proven. I mean, I'm looking at, by the way, talking about proven. What about this one? So I heard this voice note earlier on, and Bridget, who hosts the show before me, confirming this position, saying a listener on Ashraf's show, my show, just asked, is the president saying that the president's security detail is that weak and dysfunctional that they have no idea who's living in close proximity to the president, that he could be living next to terrorists, and and they would not know. I mean, I think that that's a point that was brought up earlier. It is an important point. Like, how would you not know if you are within the line of the president's walks daily? How would you not know that? There's more to come. I can see there's also in Bombela Stadium, the team has arrived there, by the way. I'm talking about the Bafana team, but we also need to get back to the ad hoc committee in Parliament right after this.
Ashraf Garda is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube, and X at SAFM Radio.
Right, this message is brought to you by Tuba, the proud operator of the National Lottery. Mzansi Powerball is now skyrocketed to a mind-blowing 140 million rand estimated jackpot for today. Play Powerball for an estimated 140 million rands today and stand a chance to win the life-changing jackpot. Buy your tickets now in store on the nationallottery.coza, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or you can dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Panda Push-Up Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
X at SAFM Radio and at Ashraf Garda.
I suppose what's happening at the stadium is an inquiry in its own right, but let's get to the other inquiry, the ad hoc committee in Parliament.
Saying earlier about how people peddle information and plot people against each other.
I do listen, and as to what I do with it, is for me now to see how I deal with the information. But
Okay, so you used him for your personal survival in SAPS because he seemed to have information both through government or, I guess, the executive and...
I didn't use him. Yes, and when you called, I listened.
Okay. Let's talk about, you said you were doing operations in Cape Town, and this was around the same time as the ANC's January 8th, 2025 celebrations. Was it something that was planned or pre-planned? That you arranged your operations in Cape Town around the period of the ANC's January 8th?
January 8th is a yearly event of the African National Congress. But as the South African Police Service, we have to be there to do our work.
Okay, so who attends? Because as the economic freedom fighters, we also have ours, and we don't have ministers, officials on that level of SAPS coming to attend any. I've never ever seen them. I'm just asking. And I think even the IFP here, so are you saying that it's a standard operation procedure that high-level officials in SAPS makes their operations, arrange operations in the hosting towns where the ANC is having their January 8th?
In all the political parties who have events,
No, you definitely don't have high level like on your level at ours, I can tell you for a fact. No, I know. I'm part of JOG.
No, they are.
Okay.
They are.
Maybe you must supply us with the list of who's deployed to these events.
No, when it happens, there's a clear plan from the police side on what will be happening, and they demarcate the streets on how...
I understand the job processes. I'm asking about levels. I'm asking specifically you as a general heading up a division, right? A deputy commissioner that will make themselves available to do operations in towns hosted by the ANC in particular. I understand the whole process of JOC and the police being involved. I'm not disputing that, General. I'm saying on that level.
Yes, on this level.
I'd like to know which ones have ever attended our events. Let's talk about when you were in Cape Town for the January 8th, 2025 celebrations. Did you meet the Minister of Police, chat to him informally, anything, especially since he had just written a letter disbanding the political killings task team?
On January 8th?
Around that time, not on that day in particular, but you were here celebrating, okay, let me not say you were celebrating, you were doing operations for the ANC's January 8th. The minister was here because there's evidence that even someone sponsored his trip. So did you have any communication with the minister?
The minister was not around. He didn't attend.
How do you know?
I know.
No, because you're there. Okay. At least there's something you're saying that you know, General. Let's move on to, so you didn't meet the minister, is that what you're saying? You didn't have any conversations with the Minister of Police during the January 8th?
He was not there.
Okay, that's not the question. Did you have around that time, even if you didn't see him physically, during that period?
I've never spoken to the minister.
Okay. Let's talk about Vusi Kat Mkhala. He called you, you said, and he wanted to have a meeting with you. And then you agreed to the meeting. So at your level, did you not even say, hey, let me just check this guy out before I just meet with him? Like, obviously you knew as a service provider, you're saying that you didn't get involved in the procurement process and that sort of thing. This guy has 80 active cases with SAPS. You are the head of crime detection. You just went ahead and met with him without even just doing some background checks.
I don't think it's fair, Chair, that when a person complains and comes with a lawyer and having the papers and say, I'm here to complain to the National Commissioner. This is my complaint. Then I must go out there and start running tests on the person and start running investigation on the person.
But that's
it's
not
not how
saying,
it works.
General. He called you first. He didn't just show up at your office. That's what you said. So the call that you arranged a meeting, right? So when he called and he asked to have a meeting with you, he stated why he wanted to meet with you.
Yes.
Right. So you knew he was coming there for that. He didn't show up with lawyers. So you had time to just say, let me go and do some due diligence, because you could have even called him back and said, this is out of my payroll, or it's not in my grade. Let's wait until the National Commissioner comes back. But you made a decision to meet with him and not even check 80 cases, and you just met with him like that. Yeah. That's what the National Commissioner told us, 80 since 2007.
Oh, it's 1-8 now.
8-0. Am I wrong? It is 8-0. I asked the National Commissioner twice last week. And I even asked when he said it's dating back since 2007.
General Mkhwanazi said 1-8.
The National, okay, I guess we can just verify. Our evidence leads, can we just double check? But when I did a follow-up, I remember saying whether it was 8-0 or 1-8. But regardless, 80 or 18, it's still a lot. So it wasn't strange for you just to do that, General?
No, because remember, Honorable Chair, when a member comes, or when a person comes wanting to see you.
He called you, he didn't come and see you, didn't show up.
Yeah, I don't think each and every person who comes who want to see me, I have to run tests on that person.
But it's not a deep test, just some due diligence. You hold a very strategic position in this country. You've said yourself that people come and they influence you and they peddle wrong information. I would just think that you'd be a little bit more cautious. But if you didn't do it, that's fine. Do you want to say something before I move on?
No, I just wanted to say that it's not always easy and possible to say I want to run tests when a person wants to say to check on you. It's not like in the presidency. In the presidency, if I want to meet the president will have a team that will actually check the background of the person. Who is this person? What is he about, and why does he want to see? You will have few people before you get there. Now, in my case, I'm expected to meet anybody who wants to meet me or who wants to meet the National Commission.
You indicated that you also made calls to him. Was this after the initial meeting or the meeting you had with him about his...
Mr. Matala? No, I never made calls to him.
At all?
No, I never made calls to him.
And did you and the minister discuss Mkhala and Brown
Not even once.
Any way, shape,
Not
or form?
even
You're not
once.
going to find any WhatsApp
You
messages
will never
or
find
anything
anything.
informally,
You'll never find
including from
anything.
the Chief of Staff.
No.
Okay. Let's talk about the disbandment of PKT. Obviously, I'm not going to repeat what other honourable members have asked. Was the minister briefed about the PKTT before sending the letter officially?
Yes.
He was, because the National Commissioner's evidence says he was not briefed.
I read something here in a meeting on the 27th that I know that there was an executive meeting and there was a briefing in relation to the PKTT, and the National Commissioner in that meeting did indicate that it was not meant to be a permanent structure. It was not meant to be a permanent structure. It was meant to evolve into a murder and robbery unit.
Okay, so I'm not asking.
All right, we'll pause on that for now, and we'll revisit the ad hoc committee as soon as we can. But right now, we need to visit Greg Host because he's in the hot seat with the news at 5.
Thank you, Ashraf. Elite military unit seizes power in Madagascar and Sabia denies friendship with controversial businessman. Good day to you. The head of an elite military unit says it has seized power in Madagascar, known as CAPSAT. It's announced it will be suspending all constitutional institutions except the lower house of parliament that earlier voted to impeach the president. This includes the Senate, the Constitutional Court and the Electoral Commission. Just over 2 weeks ago, a youth-led movement began demonstrating against water and power cuts across the country. Madagascar's president, André Rajoelina, earlier claimed he dissolved parliament, but the legality of his move is unclear, as he has already fled the island. Health Minister Aaron Motsoaledi says he's confident the rollout of the ARV medication program will greatly help combat South Africa's HIV and AIDS epidemic. The long-acting HIV prevention injection endorsed by the World Health Organization is administered twice a year. Clinical trials have shown the new drug to be highly effective, providing almost complete protection against HIV infections when administered as recommended at 6-month intervals. The minister was speaking at a roundtable on the country's readiness to roll out the new drug.
Lenacapavir represents a true breakthrough in prevention science and service delivery. This 6-monthly dosing schedule has the potential to overcome many of the barriers we have seen with daily oral PrEP. It offers greater discretion, convenience, and likely much better adherence for users, especially for people who struggle with taking a pill every day or making frequent clinic visits.
President Cyril Ramaphosa says Cape Town has done worse than the average of all metros in the country in making a positive impact on the lives of its residents. Ramaphosa was replying to a question in the National Council of Provinces.
On a per capita investment in infrastructure and service delivery, it is significantly lower in townships and informal settlements. It may well say that it has spent billions, but on a per capita basis, it continues to follow the racial patterns of the past. Because in the past, the apartheid government spent more money in white areas than it did in black areas. And the analysis says this is continuing right here in Cape Town.
The KwaZulu-Natal Premier Tami Ntuli's dismissed claims that the provincial government is unstable. He was speaking on the sidelines of a Lekgotla with MECs and mayors on ways to promote service delivery and economic growth. He was asked to comment on a notice of a motion of no confidence that the MK party submitted in the provincial parliament. The MK party says leadership from the Premier's office is weak and that the COCTA MEC is responsible for the collapse of municipalities. This was Premier Ntuli's response.
So for a party to submit a motion of no confidence, I think it's craziness. There's no much basis that are there to say there's something wrong in the province or we're failing. Because we've been able to even rescue some departments that were struggling because of the financial pressures. We've been able to ensure that all departments are working, and for each and every challenges that we are faced with, we are able to provide solutions.
The suspended Deputy National Commissioner for Crime Detection, Shadrack Sibiya, has denied allegations he's a close friend of controversial businessman Vusimuzi Kat Matlala. He's appearing for a second day before the ad hoc committee established to probe allegations of criminal infiltration and political interference in the justice system. He has been accused of having contact with Matlala and businessman Brown Makhotsi.
Kat Matlala, I do know now that he's been arrested, but at that time no one knew whether he was. That's why even the police awarded him a tender, because they didn't know apparently that he was involved in crime. Even myself, I didn't know if he was indeed a criminal. So since one became aware that the man is being arrested, we cannot now further communicate or associate ourselves with him. But at that time, going backward, we didn't know. So when I didn't know him up until he came for the first time to the office.
The top story, the head of an elite military unit that has seized power in Madagascar has announced it will be suspending all constitutional institutions except the lower house of parliament. That's SAFM News. I'm Greg Coase.
In sports this hour, crunch time for Bafana Bafana and Proteas 51-2 in their second innings at Stamps on day 3 of their first test against Pakistan. More details at 5:30.
And this traffic report is brought to you by Auto & General Business Insurance. Auto & General, never not there. Auto & General is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
SAFM, guiding you through the rush hour traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting off in Gauteng, the M1 southbound in Johannesburg is queuing towards Boysons, the N1 northbound in Midrand slow moving towards Samrand Road, and the N1 southbound in Grasmere has delays towards engine services. In KZN, the M4 northbound queuing towards Virginia Airport, the M7 eastbound queuing at Recreation Road, and the N2 northbound queuing through the construction area north of Spaghetti Junction. In Cape Town, the N1 outbound slow moving towards the R300 highway, Marine Drive outbound is queuing at Sunset Beach, and Main Road northbound slow moving through Cork Bay. With your traffic update, I'm Irma G.
And this traffic report was brought to you by Auto & General Business Insurance. Auto & General, never not there.
This October month, SAFM shines a light on mental health awareness. This month, we bring you conversations that break the stigma, encourage care, and provide strategies to protect your mental well-being. Because it's okay not to be okay. And together, we can build a healthier tomorrow. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
With the ever-changing financial landscape, it can be difficult to make sense of all the moves at times. Join me, Jimmy Moyaha, on the SAFM Market Update with MoneyWeb, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 to 7 p.m, as we break down the key market trends, top financial stories, and smart investment insights, all in one place. It's everything you need to stay financially informed and ahead of the curve.
The National Pulse with Ashraf Garda on SAFM. You're listening to the National Pulse, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
So we know that the local government elections about a year away from now, right? And we know that service delivery is a huge issue, or the absence of service delivery has certainly been central to what most people feel about their communities, their councillors, and where they want to go. And they can list a whole series of things that has just gone wrong, from infrastructure decay to breakdown to financial failures as well. Now, here's an interesting take. According to Dr. Nonhlanhla Ngcobo, these problems won't be resolved without confronting the impact of councillor illiteracy. And I'll repeat that, the impact of councillor illiteracy across municipalities nationwide. She argues that South Africa must urgently adopt a minimum requirement of a grade 12 certificate for all councillors to equip them with the essential skills for leadership and administration. It's an interesting take here. Dr. Nonhlanhla Ngcobo is with me, a lecturer in the Faculty of Law at Northwest University. Well, thank you for joining us on the National Pulse.
Good afternoon, is it? Yeah, good afternoon. It hasn't hit 6 yet.
Thank you. Well, just about. What interesting take you make? I mean, you want to put a minimum education requirement when we've had presidents with less, right? But we've also had people who are very, very qualified academically who've been hopeless at what they've done in terms of service delivery in the country.
It's very true. You are right. We've had presidents, of course, that did not have qualifications that one would argue would necessitate them to sit in such positions. But if you ask me, local government is really one of the most important spheres where real life things are happening. But certainly there are a lot of issues that do need somebody at least that is able to comprehend a lot of the things that they are passing into law. They are dealing with budgets, plans that they have for their municipalities, strategies, and a lot of things are happening and touching on the lives of people. And I think it's only necessary or fair to then have such people possess a certain skill for them to sit in that. If you ask me, and you look, for instance, at what is happening with our white paper and the current developments that are happening, we are going to need people that will really have the kind of technical skills needed to take us from the kind of local government we had before and onto an era where there's a lot of things that we need to look at, climate change and the likes. We need those skills more than ever.
Okay, so are we saying, we'll talk about education second, because what you're really saying, if I understand you correctly, there are some basic comprehension skills, both in language and just even basic financial understanding that many of these councillors are unable to grasp. Is that what you're saying?
100%. If you think what a councillor does, as soon as they even assume office, National Treasury needs them, for instance, to be able to approve a budget. If they are not aware of what is even sitting in that budget, it becomes a problem because they are essentially approving things in their jurisdiction that they even cannot comprehend. I mentioned, for instance, issues of climate change. We know how climate change is affecting a number of other issues in South Africa, or in our municipalities at least. If we're not able to adopt green budgets, which speaks to why we need to govern the way we need to govern now, then why have a person vote on a matter that they know nothing about? There are many other issues that need a councillor that is fully aware and comprehends what happens in their municipality. It's not about what the political party tells you, because a councillor would be somebody that would be advanced more often or not than not. They'd be advanced by a political party. And so what they have is the ideology of the political party, and they're pushing the agenda of a political party. But these people are making everyday decisions in municipalities that are affecting the lives of people. And if they are not able on themselves to comprehend, to understand these, to read these documents and critically engage on these, why then vote if they are not able to even grasp the magnitude of their power?
So what do you think? What percentage of South African councillors, local councillors, suffer from what you would call councillor illiteracy?
So we're looking at about 48%. This is according to now the minister, right? And then we're looking at about 10% only having your degrees, your diplomas, and such. If you then ask me, we need to get to a point where at least all councillors, before they are pushed through by political parties, before they give us a candidate list, councillors must at least, this is a bare minimum, have a matric certificate, and then you are able to stand and be eligible. Right now, if you look at the Municipal Systems Act, the Structures Act, and everything, there's absolutely nothing that speaks about minimum competencies. You just need to be a South African. You need to be 18 years old. And then when you are in office, you're given a code of conduct that tells you that you are a representative of the people, not the party.
Isn't that the point? Notwithstanding all that you've said, and what you said makes a lot of sense, right? But isn't that the most important criteria? The willingness to serve the people and to execute on serving the people on a daily basis, as opposed to having all the knowledge in the world and actually still not serving the people, but serving themselves.
So if you look at your 1998 white paper on local government, it actually preached exactly that that we need to look at representative and participatory democracy. We know the kind of local government we come from pre-1994. And you are 100% right. Because of the white paper, we were able to push through the kind of leadership that speaks to the willingness and the ability or that political will to serve the people. Because that's what local government is all about. But what I argue is that currently there's a review of even that white paper. The white paper makes it quite clear that we understand the transition that we've gone through and that there's, of course, there is a need for that political part to come through, right? Hence now we have the kind of structure that we have. But moving forward, if we look at the number of issues that our municipalities are having, we're having financial mismanagement that is happening, infrastructure decaying, we're having service delivery backlogs. All of these issues now speak to us at least now having the kind of leaders that are at least are able to comprehend the magnitude at which things need to change.
Yeah. Do you not think that this may, in a country that still is transforming, this may deny many councillors, particularly in the rural communities, the opportunity of actually serving their communities?
Listen, there's absolutely no, this is me, coming from a township and having my own roots in your rural areas as well. There is no need that we cannot get number of councillors coming in and having the basic minimum skills. If you ask me, if anything, this would also push the need for more education in South Africa. That's genuinely how I see it.
All right.
We are, and I will always argue this, we are not in short of people with the right qualifications. We're not in short with people who even at least have a grade 10 certificate. Why then would we choose somebody that does not over somebody that does have? Yes, I fully agree with you. Political will must be number one. There's a number of mayors, for instance. I always make examples of mayors. There's a number of mayors that are making a difference out there because they're driven mostly by political will. But what I argue is that we just need a bit more. Just a bit more.
Okay.
Just that political will alone will not suffice.
All right. Let's look at the practicalities of your proposal. I mean, it's a proposal, right? Who's going to buy into it? Do you think political parties will willingly buy into this?
If you ask me, then, if you look at what the economic freedom fighters are doing, and I'm just making an example. Of course, I'm not advocating for any party. They do have what looks like an academy where they are at least trying to train their prospective representatives. So political parties can buy, and they are buying. But what we need is a little more push from government. This then means that if political parties are then at least given a framework to say that, listen, you only advance such people into your candidacy list, then I believe that political parties will be able to give us the people that we need. They might be able to, they are currently doing the academies. I know that FNSA, for instance, is also doing that. But we need a concerted approach from all these political parties, and they can only be pushed by government.
But maybe that's the point that, I hear about your grade 12 threshold, but maybe that's the point that, we have this phrase called voter education, right? So there needs to be councillor education, and whether it's done by the political party, maybe it should be done at council level, whereby even if you get voted in, you have to pass, even if it's a 3 or 6 month bridging course that you have to pass to be able to serve as a councillor. Wouldn't that be the more practical thing to do? So it's not even done at party political level, but done at council level.
Now, you see, currently they do have, and I know SALGA has a program that they do, which is, for me, inadequate. This is a 2-week, what you're speaking of, SALGA provides, but just 2 weeks. So, yes, I fully agree with you, but I also believe that we can go a bit further. Certainly we can go a bit further. I know I'm pushing the boundaries here, but why not try?
Well, I'm glad you're pushing the boundaries because, listen, we do need to move from mediocrity and mid-table nation to champion nation, and that means we need to get the best people to serve us. But let me ask you this then: if we extend your premise now at council level, then what about the same applying to cabinet level? What I'm saying on that point is that very often it's very rare that that a minister serving in that cabinet is actually an expert in that field. So you'll often get a minister of finance who's actually not an expert in finance. Trevor Manuel will be the first example of that, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and was very successful, according to most people.
Now, I'm a local government law scholar. Bring me somebody now that looks at multi-level governance, and we can definitely push that agenda too. But I fully agree with you. Of course, my study really just focuses on what is happening at local government level. I would not want to now speak falsely or without any information as to what is happening in provincial or even national government. But of course, if this proposal is able to work for local government, it certainly should be able to work for all the other spheres that we have.
Okay, well,
at the end of the day, we need people in power that really at least should know what they're doing. Political power or political will alone, for me, I believe yes, it works, but we just need a bit more.
Okay, well, I think that last part's important. They must have some knowledge. Political will alone is clearly not enough, not when they represent us, and they have to make decisions on our behalf. Dr. Nonhlanhla Nqobo, the lecturer in the Faculty of Law at Northwest University, I mean, as an example of that, and I'm not talking about qualifications, but when you do not analyze effectively and you don't do enough research on a topic, you actually have a situation where a club, in this case Bafana gets docked 3 points. It's that sort of thing, and you can apply the same principle to money issues when you're managing big budgets in a country, and then somehow we the people must pay, isn't it? More here on the National Pulse right after this.
Ashraf Garda is streaming live now on Facebook, YouTube and X at SAFM Radio.
All right, we'll take lots of calls, people talking about Nepal and other things too. We'll do that just now. But for now, let's get back to the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee. In fact, let's do this. They're on a break right now, so we will pause for the moment, but let's pick up on some of your comments.
Hi, Ashraf. Ashraf, I just feel as a country that we have a Nepal or Madagascar situation loading. I mean, with all the corruption and all the nonsense that's going on, I feel there's a whole generation that's simmering to rise up against corruption, etc., as you have seen before. And with the present story, I think all this is just making it worse to the youth to see what's going on.
Well, listen, I mean, the president is one thing. There are very few parties who've been around who've not been implicated at some level or the other, right? The ANC more than most, but they've also been in government longer than most. Your point is right. If these parties don't be seen to be doing the right thing, there's already a revolt by people not voting for them, and that's why there's more parties. There's already that revolt. The question is, are these parties listening to them, and what are they going to do about it? And Nonhlanhla in KZN, go for it. Hello.
How's it, Ashraf?
Yeah, good talking to you, man.
Yes, Ashraf, on the issue of councillors, when you look at Chapter 10 of the Constitution, basic values and principles that govern public administration, it gets to state that public administration must be broadly representative of all South African people with employment and management practices based on ability and objective fairness. It gets to articulate some sort of affirmative action measures which get to state suitably qualified people must be given opportunities. It's not that when you give African councillors or black councillors the opportunities, we are doing them a favor. They must also be qualified, and also when you look at employment equity report, EEA 10, Employment Equity Act 10 form, it gets to states, even the president, the judicial too, it gets to submit a indemnity report.
All right.
Which gets, wait, Ashraf.
Yeah, but I can't give you like a 3 minute. I mean, you must understand that. I have to hear other people too. Yeah.
Yes, it gets to enforce them to comply with what the Constitution says. The fact that the politicians get to rape our Constitution, this is why we're in this problem.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you for putting that on the agenda. And clearly there are, as I've said earlier, there are so many people so disgruntled with the type of leadership that we have right now, right? So that's in Klantline KZN. Let's go to Durban now. Padiachi, hi.
Hi, Ashraf.
Hello.
Ashraf, I want to suggest an alternative in order for qualifications. And the alternative is that the IEC, when they select candidates, they put them through a veto in terms of whether they meet certain criteria to be approved as such. So why not then include the aspect of, if you are going to be in a candidate, whether it's parliamentary or whether it's council, then you've got to have the certain qualifications before you are nominated as an IEC candidate.
But must that qualification be an academic qualification, or must it be a qualification?
No, I'm saying
that
it has to be relevant.
Like we say, voter education, so it needs to be councillor education. That means there must know their
it
role.
has to be relevant to the position that you're going to be applying for. Now, look, IEC would nominate the councillors of the different parties. Now, if they nominated me and I don't have the qualification, the IEC doesn't credit me.
Okay, I got
because
that.
Because the IEC is part of a government legislation. And as the people, we want the government to ensure that people that we have that serve us, irrespective of the parties, they must have at least a qualification.
Okay. Thank you for making
position.
Thanks for that point. Again, on the agenda, well, certainly that conversation we had with Dr. Nonhlanhla Nqobo has certainly put that issue on the agenda. What else is on the agenda, Ramaphosa?
Once upon a time. Good day, Ashraf, and to the SAFM listeners. This man is telling us stories. Surely he sees us as being 3-year-olds. Surely. There's nothing else that can be said about it. Good day. This is MG Emont.
Okay. Now, listen, we're not talking about the issues of, as someone has suggested, he hasn't been charged for anything on this issue, right? But why do you think that story is far-fetched? You think nobody has said anything similar to that? Maybe besides the fact that his security component didn't know who's living on that street. I mean, that for me is, if it's not far-fetched, it's actually a bit crazy.
Afternoon, Mr. Ashraf. I totally agree with the Premier of Limpopo, Poppy Ramathuba, when she says it should be a thorough investigation with regard to the medication that was found during the accident that took place in Limpopo. With regards to the bus that came from Gqeberha to Mozambique, Gqeberha to Zimbabwe, carrying Zimbabweans and the Malawians. There's a lot of medication that was lying around there. She said it should be a thorough investigation. I'm agree with her, boy.
Okay, you are in agreement. Got that right. Let's get further comments, and so here's one that refers to that conversation we just had about that house.
Good afternoon, sir, and your producer and all the listeners of SAFM. Sir, I want to know with respect, if you can allow me or you can have an answer for me, please. That mansion house there in Sentin look like a mall. That guy, I think, is related with a president or something. So they are still staying there, or is not staying there, because I can see on TV it look like the cars is gone, so I want to know where he is, that guy now. And also, according to you or according to the listeners, after all this commission, that Madlanga and the Parliament Commission, all of those things, we're going to see people is going in jail, or this thing is just a drama, or it's just wasting our man, or what? That is my concern here from Cape Town. Thank you.
But shouldn't the bigger concern be that we're actually having people who are siphoning money from the country and we don't know about it? That should be the bigger concern. That's why there's a need for an investigation. I mean, if we do it, it's wrong. If we don't do it, it's also wrong. I mean, think about it.
Good afternoon, Al-Shaf and the listeners. It's Mahlula here. General Masimula said during the disbandment he was on leave, but now his deputy Sibiya is saying General Masimula participated before and after the disbandment. So who's fooling who here? Thank you, Al-Shaf.
Who's fooling who? There was a footballer by that name. Remember that? A long, long time ago, Longwani, I think it is. Who's fooling who? Well, I'll tell you what. And I'm looking at Tumi with eyes on that important game. We'll be asking the same question about who's fooling who if things go wrong. I can't imagine it that we would not be in the World Cup. Now, of course, we're going to get there. Strange things can happen. I mean, how you can beat Zimbabwe? No, you can beat a team, Lesotho, and then lose 3 points. And that's impossible because of a yellow card. So why can't you be in trouble and turn it around? It's happened in the world before. Come on. I'm praying. 5:30. Here's the news headlines.
Quick look at the headlines. Government and the police are in the final stages of implementing the use of body cameras for officers. The Matlaga Commission in Pretoria is adjourned and will return on Thursday. And the head of an elite military unit, the deceased power in Madagascar, has announced it will be suspending all constitutional institutions. There's a full update at 6 o'clock.
SAFM, guiding you through the rush hour traffic.
Good afternoon. Starting off in Gauteng, the M1 southbound in Parktown, slow moving towards Houghton Drive. The N3 northbound in Edenville has a stationary truck before Modderfontein Road. In KZN, the M4 northbound queuing towards Virginia Airport and the N2 northbound queuing through the construction area north of Spaghetti Junction. In Cape Town, Campground Road in Newlands is slow moving between Main Road and Keerboom Road, and Baden-Powell Drive in Khayelitsha has a crash reported at Jafta Masemola Road. With your traffic update, I'm Irma G.
This is SAFM Sports with Tumi Nkhabele.
So, to me, my producer, Chamber, confirming when I said who's fooling who, I think that's Longwani. He said, yes, the former Swallows player, Thomas Longwani. Well, either way, who's fooling who must not happen. We have to win. We are 30 minutes away, 29 minutes away.
29 minutes, actually now going to 28 minutes. And Bafana coach Hugo Bruce insists that the focus must remain on their own performance and the crucial victory that they so desperately need against Rwanda today.
It's a game that, we have to focus only on ourselves. Like Ronald said, we can't change or decide or whatever what happens on the other field in Nigeria. So if we win, we have to wait and see. But I think that the things we all wanted and we all dreamed of can happen tomorrow. We are ready for it. We are ready again to play a good game, because whatever you say about the game against Zimbabwe, it was not a bad game from our side. We just needed a little bit luck, and if that luck should have been on our side, we should have won the game, certainly.
Well, the game is live on SABC 3 from 6 p.m. And in terms of how they're lining up in the goalpost, Ronan Williams, the back four is Aubrey Mudiba, Nkosinathi Sibisi, Khulumani Ndamane, and Khuliso Mudau. In the middle, it's Tebogo Mokoena, Talent Mbata, and Sipho Mbule. And then in front is Oswan Apollos, Evidence Makgopa, and Thapelo Morena. Then in cricket, South Africa were 51 for 2 at stumps in their second innings at the first test against Pakistan. And they just need another 226 runs to win. Earlier, Seniran Mutusami took 5 for 57 for match figures of 11 for 74 as the Proteas dismissed the host for 167 in their second innings. Mutusami has now become the fourth Proteas spinner to register a 10-wicket haul in test matches. Meanwhile, Proteas woman Chloe Tyrant says that the gap between the traditional powerhouses and emerging teams in women's cricket is narrowing, and the results definitely speak for themselves. This is after South Africa beat Bangladesh by 3 wickets yesterday. Tyrant believes that the competitive edge across the tournament is a clear sign of the sport's global growth.
Every single game is important in this World Cup. You're not taking anything for granted. And I feel like Bangladesh came really hard at us today and, put us in really tough situations. So I think for us, just making sure that we're still playing our brand of cricket. But I definitely feel like the gap is closing. And every single game has been exciting, but a little bit nervous at sometimes. But I'm just happy that we're finding ways to get over the line. And it's just really exciting for the women's game to see how exciting the games are and how that gap is closing and just seeing the young talent on stage, which is really awesome to see.
Meanwhile, fans have the opportunity to get tickets for the season 4 of the SA20 as they went on sale today. The anticipated 4th season will take place in a new festive window from the 26th of December to the 25th of January next year, giving holiday goers and those on staycations access to non-stop cricket action and entertainment. The opening match at Newlands on Boxing Day between defending champions Cape Town and Durban Super Giants is going to kick-start the season, and it promises to be electrifying fireworks. Then in hockey, SA Hockey's men's captain Dayan Kassim says they are quite happy to have finally kicked off their 2026 FIH World Cup qualifying journey on a positive note. This is after their opening match was a walkover. South Africa were due to face Zambia in their men's Hockey Africa Cup of Nations campaign opener on Saturday, but their opponents failed to pitch in Egypt, resulting in a 5-0 walkover. But getting their first taste of action in a 3-1 win over Kenya on Sunday was enough to settle the nerves. This is after being taken aback by the Zambians' no-show. Now, South Africa are 7-time back-to-back defending champions of AFCON, which counts as the official qualification tournament for next year's Hockey World Cup, co-hosted by Belgium and the Netherlands. Then finally, in athletics, South African Paralympian Colin Mahlalela says that he is relieved that he managed to return home with bronze medal from the 2025 World Para-Athletics Championship. Colin secured a podium finish after claiming his personal best of 48.04 in the men's 400-meter T47 final earlier this month in India. And Mahlalela says that he gives credit to his coach, Henny Creel, for helping him to prepare well for the world showpiece. So, Ashraf, I guess right now the big question is, do we have faith that South Africa can do it?
Look, let me be practical. It's not even a case of have faith. They've got a job to do. They must do their job. We can say faith the whole day. We had faith last week as well.
But do you have faith in the national team? It's a fair
No, that's
question.
not the same thing. The faith is, do I support the team?
Well, I'm asking you. I'm asking you.
I support the team. But I'm saying to you, even the best teams you support, you can't say, I have faith they're going to win, because I want them to win. They must just do their job.
Do you think they can do their job?
Of course they can do their job. I said so earlier on. That they can do their job. Because these things happen in football. There's lots of tension, in qualifiers on the last day. There are crazy tensionful games that happens across the world.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of emotions get into play. But I mean, the other part we're forgetting is, if we win, look, we need to do our job.
But Nigeria also needs to come to the party.
But if we win 2-0, if I stand to be corrected here, if Nigeria and what's the name again? The opposition?
Benin.
Yeah, I'm saying Burundi yesterday. I know I said that. If they draw the match and if we win 2-0, we'll top the group on goal difference.
Mm-hmm.
So 2-0 puts us in a pretty strong position, keeping in mind we're playing Nigeria. And I say playing Nigeria are playing at home. And why would Nigeria not want to win that game? I would be shocked if they don't win that game. But listen, there's a comment from someone, a listener. Let's hear that.
Hi, Ashraf. This monstrous thing called mismanagement and corruption has poisoned even the Bafana office or management to the level that they have just forfeit the points from Lesotho by being corrupt. So this country is a country that goes for the culture of corruption. So I don't wish them any luck, this Bafana. Let them fail and not go there. Thanks, William Kuma.
Okay.
So fielding Tebogo Mokoena was corruption.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he clearly doesn't wish them well. So I wouldn't regard him then in that case, because I'm saying to you, there's a mess up. Right now, the players need to know that we back them, and they need to know they must deliver to the best of their ability for the rest of the country. And so must our brothers in Nigeria do the same thing, right? Anything else is irrelevant for today.
Yeah. Well, with that said, ke na tumeng kgapele, Modimo.
Amavubi have a big plan to finish as high as possible in Group C. However, Bafana Hugo believe nothing will stop them from collecting 3 points. This is the 2026 FIFA World Cup African qualifier. Catch South Africa versus Rwanda on Tuesday, 14 October at 5:30 p.m. Live on SABC3, SABC Plus, and SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. Then on SABC radio stations at 6 p.m. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
Economic news on SAFM. Facts and figures you can count on.
Jimmy, our eyes are on Bafana. I'm just telling you at 6 o'clock, I will not be listening to your show, but I accept the fact that if you're giving regular updates, I may be just tuned in anyway. Having said that, what's on the agenda?
Good afternoon, Ashraf. Good afternoon to the listeners. I have the game running on the television screen that I'm looking at as well, so I will be able to provide regular updates from that perspective. It might be difficult for me to keep an eye on the game and the business news of the day, but we will do the best that we can. We'll be taking a look at the rand. We'll be looking at some of the macro factors out there, the renewed tensions between the United States and China and how they are going to potentially affect markets like the rand and other emerging markets. We're going to speak to senior economist at PwC around that. Then we've also got a conversation taking a look at the warning put out by the DTIC and the NCC, so that is the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, as well as the National Consumer Commission, regarding the foreign shopping platforms, the likes of Temu and Shein, with regards to their operations within the borders of South Africa. Very stern warning and very stern words coming out of our minister in the form of Minister Park Stau related to these platforms. We're going to dig into this and see what that is all about. Then we've got a conversation taking a look at the government systems. It seems as though over the last 24 hours or so, or a lot of the government websites that were domained.gov.za recently went offline. We're going to take a look at what happened there. There is a SETA responsible for the maintenance of those domains, and we're going to take a look at those developments and where we stand at the moment. Then we've also got a conversation with the team at MedShield taking a look at their 2026 product suite. They recently announced that, and we're going to speak to the principal officer of the scheme around what it is they are offering consumers. And then, because it's Tuesday, we've got a property feature. We're going to be taking a look at estate levies, better understanding the levies that you are charged, how the levies are set to be managed, and what it is that you as a homeowner can do to protect yourself in that respect. But before we get to those conversations, a sense of the market movements throughout the day. It has been another bit of a mixed day. We're seeing a bit of pressure coming through in the form of cryptocurrencies, whilst some of the commodities continue to do well, the likes of the gold price. Brent crude a little bit softer, but let's look at those commodities in a bit more detail. The gold price at the moment, $4,142 a fine ounce. We are now looking forward towards $4,200. At some point, we were still trying to see if we'd get above $4,000 a fine ounce. So the gold price still running quite a bit there. If we look at that in rand terms, just for a bit of context, that is around 2.3 million rand per kilogram of gold. Compare that to the price of a Bitcoin, which is now below 2 million rand a coin at 1.94, just under 1.95 million rand per coin there in rand terms. But the price of Brent crude, $62 a barrel, much better than the $70 a barrel that we've seen of late. Below the $65 a barrel level. I wonder if we'll breach $60 a barrel, but this is all good and boding well for the oil price as well as for fuel prices in South Africa. Silver price around $51.80 a fine ounce. We're keeping an eye on that because of that silver to gold ratio that we've been keeping an eye on for the last couple of days, especially since the silver price has started moving again. Platinum pricing, $1,678 a fine ounce. Palladium, $1,570. As a result of those stronger commodity prices, the resource counters were flat today, 2 basis points to the green, but the only sector to finish in the green. Industrials were down a third, and financials were down about 7 basis points. As a result, the all share about 0.1% to the red. The top 40 almost a fifth of a percent to the red. The rand also a bit weaker against all of the major currencies, 17 rand 43 against the US dollar, 23 Rand 17 against the British pound, 20 Rand 20 cents against the euro, and around 11 Rand 30 against the Australian dollar. Bitcoin prices, $111,000 in US dollar terms, or that 1.95 million rand in ZAR terms. If we look at international markets, by and large, they were in the red. The biggest loser was the Nikkei in terms of Asian markets. Yesterday, the Nikkei was closed. There was a public holiday taking place in Japan, so coming out of that, coming back into today's trade, having a red day, about 2.5% to the red. The Hang Seng in Hong Kong down about 1.7%. If we look at European markets, they didn't fare much better. The DAX, the biggest loser there in Germany, down 0.2%, whilst the FTSE was about 7 basis points to the green, and the CAC 40 about flat, but slightly in the red. The Nasdaq about 1% in the red at the moment after gains yesterday, and the S&P about 0.5% in the red. We'll keep an eye on US markets as they trade into the evening. Perhaps risks still weighing in on the markets, but we'll have that conversation just after the 6 p.m. news as we watch the Bafana game. For now, Ashraf, back to you.
Right, perfect. Eye on Bafana. And you got that, certainly, Jimmy. Thanks for that, right? Yeah, 6 o'clock. I'll tell you what, we're going to cross back to the ad hoc committee in Parliament in a moment, but just remember this message brought to you by Ituba, the proud operator of the National Lottery. So Mzansi Powerball has skyrocketed to a mind-blowing 140 million rands, estimated jackpot for today. Play Powerball for an estimated 140 million rands and stand a chance to win the life-changing jackpot. So buy your tickets now in store on the nationallottery.coza, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or you can dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Panda Push-Up Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
X at SFM Radio and at Ashraf Garda.
Right, let's cross to the parliamentary subcommittee.
The high level of crimes, it is now on his shoulders as to how he reduces the number, because he also wants to be successful and also to make sure that crime drops in the respective areas. So ministers are hands-on. And as they are hands-on, they do speak to the DGs and they tell what must happen.
But General, ministers are not police. They're not trained as policemen. They are politicians, and I would have a problem with a minister who is hands-on when he has no knowledge of policing. Because then what it would be then the role of the National Commissioner.
But you also
divisional what commanders and all of those people.
But you also get a situation where the community or the public or the media, they begin to ask questions, say, but where's the minister? That one is dead. It's not there. It's nowhere to be seen. It's missing in action. But when you become hands-on again and you get seen again, you also get accused that you are too much. You are interfering. So I don't know how they're managing it, but from where I'm sitting, I don't think I'm the one who should be really engaged into such type of discussion since I'm not the minister.
Well, I'm asking that because Lieutenant General Mkwanazi was very strong on saying that the minister actually overstepped his authority. He had no right to actually dissolve the PKTT because it's an operational matter. And the National Commissioner also strongly believes that the minister actually overstepped the mark of his authority to dissolve the PKTT because he is the one who actually established that because it's an operational matter.
I don't agree with that.
Okay. Now, looking at the letter of the 31st December, like the Honorable Member Matthias of the EFF, the 31st of December is the eve of the new year. I suppose offices by 12 o'clock are almost empty. I understand that the police are actually working. The lower ranks of the police are on the roads, but in Pretoria, I can bet you my dollar I won't find any of you at head office at 12 o'clock on the New Year's Eve. But here is the minister at 17:40. He sends an email disbanding the PKTT. Now, Honorable Mkhwanazi, not Honorable, yes, General Mkhwanazi and the National Commissioner, in particular, General Mkhwanazi feels that no, somebody wrote the letter for the minister, and the minister signed something that he did not understand. What is your take on that?
I still believe that General Mkhwanazi, he sees things.
Sorry?
He sees things because some of us from the 24th of January, of December, we were operating already down there in Western Cape. We came, I came round about my last roadblock was in Harrismith on the 30th in the afternoon. We were not there, and the minister was already at home in KZN. Me, I was operating on the street. I never actually got to get involved in this thing. So if the General Mkhwanazi believed that somebody wrote that letter for the minister, it means he believed that the minister has got no capacity to can write that letter himself, which I find unbelievable.
True, I also found it unbelievable when I first heard it, because I know Honorable Minister Mkhunu. We almost grew up together out there, and I know his capabilities. And until I saw a letter from Mary Dehas, because the Mary Dehas letter, if I may just read one, the first paragraph actually indicated is 1.1. She says, in this regard, I request that you, that is Mary Dehas saying to the minister, 1, instruct the National Commissioner of SAPS to immediately disband the irregularly constituted, unnecessary, and wasteful political killings task team. The National Commissioner must immediately stop the deployment of General Khumalo, who heads the CIS. Now, even the terminology used in this letter is almost the same terminology that you would find in the letter written disbanding the PKTT. What would be your take in that?
I think the minister will be invited to come and defend this type of statements.
No, that's fine. I will ask him. Thank you. And then you saw this letter on General Sbiya on the 3rd of January, when Brigadier or General Mtoko, yes, came to your office with that letter, with that, is it a directive or something, to say that this PKTT must be disbanded with immediate effect. And the commissioner was not there. The national commissioner was on leave. I didn't hear you actually saying that upon receipt of this letter, you actually made any effort to contact the acting national commissioner, in this instance, Lieutenant General Musikili. Why was that?
Because once you are, the National Commissioner is on leave and you are appointed as the acting National Commissioner, that document was circulated or sent to the National Commissioner on the 31st of December, but it was only sent to me on the 3rd of January. And the National Commissioner says it in his own statement that the National Commissioner saying it in his statement that he signed, he says in his statement that he directed Brigadier Letoko to write an email to us and tell us that we must act and prepare a report. So it says, I'm looking for that letter where the National Commissioner himself said, I directed Brigadier Letoko to write this letter to the Deputy National Commissioners to prepare reports. So which means the National Commissioner already places himself in action, in his own words, in his own statement that I read earlier.
Thank you. Well, in fact, I did say that the National Commissioner felt that he should have been the one to dissolve that. In fact, it's in his evidence in chief, paragraph 44, where he said the disbandment of the PKTT was an operational policing decision and as such should have been made by the National Commissioner. And I'm quoting directly from his statement. Now, on the 14th then of January, General Spear walked into the office of the National Commissioner. That was the day when he was actually back from, was resuming his duties after a 2 weeks leave. And then you walked in, General Spear, with a proposal to immediately and summarily actually disband PKTT. You already had a plan of how to go about implementing the minister's directive.
I still refer back to the National Commissioner. In paragraph 45 of the National Commissioner statement under oath to this committee, he confirmed that he did instruct. Let us refer to page which one is the page correct? Please turn over. I'm looking for the statement, Chair, that I read earlier where the National Commissioner said he did instruct Brigadier Letoko to write that statement. Had he not done so, he would have been accused of insubordination. So he did that because he otherwise, had he not done it, it was going to be regarded as insubordination. So, as far as I'm concerned, the National Commissioner acted within his rights, and even the judge asked him and say, even if it was a unlawful instruction, were you going to carry it out? And I said, no, if it's not a lawful instruction, I won't carry it out. But whatever that happened because the National Commissioner was in support.
And on the 15th again, 15th of January 2025, General Spear visited my office, and that is the National Commissioner saying this, and found me with Major General Sibula.
Yes.
And you actually briefed him on the revised plan because he was not happy with the original one. And he told you that, no, disbanding the PKTT cannot be an abrupt thing because of reasons, and then he gave those reasons. But then you came back the following day with the plan. And then he actually specifically, instructed you to leave the matter to him. Hence, in your bundle, there is that letter, which ought to have been signed by him, but he did not sign it. And then Lieutenant General Spear left the office, and on the 17th, he wrote a letter, a letter carrying a directive to Lieutenant General Khumalo to implement with immediate effect the minister's directive.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it at that. Because it's 6 o'clock, it's the show, it's the National Pulse. And I know that besides you having your eyes on the ad hoc committee, there's no question about it. It's eyes on Bafana Bafana. My eyes are certainly on them. That game is just about to start. But Greg Host has got his own mission. It's the news at 6.
Thank you again. Ashraf. Body cams for officers close to implementation, and elite military unit seizes power in Madagascar. Good evening. Government and the police are in the final stages of implementing the use of body cameras for officers. That's according to the acting Deputy National Police Commissioner, Linia Nkua. She says the budget for the purchase has been approved and allocated for the current financial year. The police plan is to buy 100 cameras every year, which cost 29,000 rand each. The acting commissioner has encouraged officers to embrace this technology.
We need technology to assist us to fight crime. We know nowadays we are faced with cybercrime, and many other crimes that requires technology.